Did we?
There we are.
Okay.
Oh God! Whoever does those opening graphics, I'm suing them.
You should. You should. He's in Canada, so you can.
Yeah, you can get.
It'll be easier.
Or just off him. I don't know. It's up to you, really.
It
up
cost
to you.
me
In
1/4.
Minecraft. In Minecraft.
Yeah.
No tariffs on suing him.
No. Welcome to Friday Night Tights, everybody. A well oil machine that we are.
This is Friday Night Tights Born Again.
Born again.
Yes.
Born again. Oh, welcome to the echo chamber on this show, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. But first, let's I'm gonna do the other read, X-Ray Girl, later, because I there's a lot to take in right now. So we're gonna do this one first. We're gonna do the Rumble read. So free speech is under attack. The show is brought to you by Rumble Premium, basically. Free speech is under attack, but Rumble refuses to back down. We've always believed in empowering voices, no matter how unpopular, and now we're taking that fight to the next level. When major advertisers conspire to pull their dollars, even brands like Dunkin' Donuts turn their backs, claiming Rumble had a right-wing culture. But we're not here to fit a mold. We're here to defend free expression. To strengthen this mission, we are excited to offer Rumble Premium, a completely ad-free experience and exclusive benefits for viewers and creators. You find exclusive content from creators like Russell Brand, Dr. Disrespect, Timcast, and the Mug Club from Crowder. It's more than a subscription. It's a stand for free speech. Your voice matters. Join Rumble Premium for a limited time. You can get $10 off your annual plan by using promo code Nerdrotic. Visit rumble.com. premium/Nerdrotic and claim your discount today. Together, we can turn the tide whether you join Rumble Premium or simply keep watching. Your support always helps. Keep free. I almost got it right till the end.
Oh, man. Straight
Fuck!
there at the end. It was so good.
Free speech till the end. I ran out of gas at the end.
Man.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Am I right, ladies?
That was Gary's version of the Dark Knight trilogy. Almost got there until the third act in the last film.
Last part.
I like this 20% off your annual pants.
Hey.
Who doesn't like cheap pants?
Right?
Just
Right?
one pair of pants a year.
Our special guest today, former naked network executive. I mean, he's naked. Naked executive. That's why he's the former executive. Yeah. Of up there in Canada, Paul Chato.
Thank you. I have my Make Canada Mediocre Again hat.
Oh.
Because we need to aspire to something.
It's still going to be a rough path to get there for you guys.
Yeah.
I believe in you, Canada. You can make it.
Yeah, we can make it. We can make it again. And thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, it's such a great day to be on the show because we're going to talk about Daredevil. I'm going to talk about Mickey 17, but like the biggest news today is
both.
Snape is black.
Yep.
Yes.
It's official.
Not just his heart, his skin.
His
Ryan is
skin.
very excited. Ryan is
Very excited.
This is
I can't wait. I'm
about
so
time.
glad that the person that like Harry's just constantly suspicious of that is up to no good. And then Harry goes on to become a fucking magical police officer. I can't wait. I'm so glad that Snape is fucking black. I can't wait to see James Potter and Sirius Black bullying the fuck out of Snape and make it all into some victim mentality because Snape is fucking black. I can't wait.
How
They're
black
gonna
are
play
we
that
talking
scheme.
here?
Don't
Oh,
they
very.
hang him from a
Very
tree,
black.
kind of, or
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they hang him from the
They
tree?
lynch him.
How are they
Like
gonna?
James
Oh,
Potter and
no.
Sirius Black are gonna lynch a black Severus Snape.
Optics on that.
Except Kingsley.
Good.
Hey, Kingsley Shacklebolt was black.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to see more Kingsley in a proper adaptation of Harry Potter. I'd love to see Dean Thomas get more of his actual role that he's supposed to have, especially in the last half of the series.
Yeah.
But let's change one of the most complex and most important characters in the series. Let's make him the guy who's described as an ugly, hook-nosed, greasy-haired, pale as fuck, white dude. Let's turn him into a fucking black dude who looks like he walked out of a GQ Africa magazine. Fuck this show, man.
This just shows you that Hollywood has not learned a single.
No.
They have not changed at all. Even with the writing on the wall, with the cultural shift happening, the election, and all that stuff, Hollywood hasn't changed a single thing.
I agree with you, but wasn't this decision made like sometime last year? Are they just making it official now? Right? I mean, we heard
That's when we got the news. Yeah.
To be honest, it's not even official.
Yeah.
This
Contract
came out
final,
along
yeah.
with a handful of names, some which are still attached, some which are no longer attached, that they were eyeing potentially, right? Looking for some of these castings. And I mean, for instance, the person who is now in negotiations to play McGonagall is not the same person that came out in that first Deadline article 3 months ago. But Papa Essiatu's name has remained. And considering how confident, like everyone reported, Papa Essiatu has officially been cast to play Dumbledore. I think that's a little bit of a stretch from what Deadline actually reported, even though they sourced Deadline, where if you scroll down, it says
John Lithgow
Out
is
of my
playing
face.
Dumbledore.
correct.
Yep.
It says go down. Is this an updated?
Email. This is the newest one that just came out.
Harry
this
Potter.
isn't- No, okay, here we go. It skipped the first part here.
Yeah.
Additionally, Emmy nominee Papa Essiatu, one of the first actors identified in the series, is closing his deal to portray Severus Snape. I hear they are poised to join John Lithgow, who, as Deadline reported exclusively, will be playing Professor Albus Dumbledore. Because they reported John Lithgow, and obviously that was right. I 100% believe that this is going to be true as well.
I think this is happening, and it's done. What did we say, Ryan? This whole fucking time, this could be the biggest show in the world if done right. If they just adapt the books correctly, it could be the biggest show in the world, and they fuck themselves. Yep. And it's just not going to piss off our sphere. This is going to piss off Harry Potter fans. But like, it legit.
Yes, there's even massive, leftists that like whatever. They probably don't like J.K. Rowling. They probably don't like this. They're like, well, this, I mean, representation is good, but this doesn't really make any sense though. And blah blah blah. Like, it's bad. It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's the same argument we've been having for a decade. When you have the rights to something, be it Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, whatever, right? The reason you have that and paid so much money to have the rights to make something about that is because of that property, because of that book that it's based off, because of that comic book series, whatever it may be. That's what people want to see. That's what fans want to see. The only thing that people wanted out of this, as beloved as the movies are, for a lot of huge book readers, big fans, as much as they might like the movies, they weren't very good adaptations of those books, especially the last 6 movies. So they wanted to see the books come to life truly in a fashion that you can do it on a place like a premiere streaming show, where you can fit an 800-page book and actually adapt the vast majority of it for film or to be on the screen. And you've already showed, despite you saying a faithful adaptation was what we had promised them, despite you saying that, this isn't faithful.
No.
Doesn't
but
JK
in
have
no way.
final say? Doesn't JK have
She
final
would
say?
be on
absolutely
board with all
does.
of this.
I have questions about that at this point. We all kind of assumed they would, and they said, hey, she has, she's going to be involved in this. However, I feel like we've yet to hear a single thing from J.K. Rowling about the Albus Dumbledore casting.
That's true. Yeah.
The only way she's going to speak of if somebody's trans, she's going to be like, fuck that.
Out anytime now.
But yeah, she would totally be fine with all this. She's a
she'd be fine with
leftist.
it.
She's far over on that side. Trans opinions aside, she's totally be fine with that. Yeah, she was fine with it when they did the stage play, which we all agree is stage plays are very different when it comes to casting, because they could be all over the place and nobody gives a fuck about plays. But she was fine with that. She was backing up the claims that Hermione wasn't described, and like it could be anybody.
Her argument then was basically, I never explicitly said that Hermione wasn't black.
Right.
So it
right.
kind of gave it a pass for the stage production. This is a very different story.
Yep.
These are J.K. Rowling's sketches that she made of the character, and is maybe more with the exception of Harry, Snape may have more like in-depth descriptions of what he looks like than maybe any other character in the book.
It's brought up multiple
Including
times.
down to the color of his skin constantly.
Well, and that's
He's one of the three main, like, most important characters in the book. It's like Harry, Dumbledore, Snape.
But we now know
Voldemort as well. But like these are main.
But we know his Patronus is going to be Kanye.
I was gonna say his Patronus is gonna be bigger.
Hey, that's quite the Patronus you got there. Let me tell you. Whipping out his Patronus.
Let's just be happy they're
Ebony
not changing
wood,
her
12
name to
inches.
Hermione.
Okay, is he gonna have that straight black hair that curtains his face?
Yeah, is he gonna get a perm, like a straight perm,
a
or
full afro? Like
gonna look like Snoop Dogg.
I want the pimp straight hair. That's what I need.
That's quite the wand you've got there.
Yeah.
At this point, make him gay too. Make him in love with James.
Yeah.
Right? Like just fucking do it. Just do that at this point. Because I don't see a way. Look, if they had race swap Professor Sprout, I would really give no fucks, right? A very minor character that would still be like I would fucking laugh at it and roll my eyes, but I wouldn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Snape is an important character.
Yeah.
And especially with
that's why they're doing it.
Especially with as complex as his backstory is, and people who have just watched the movies have no understanding of the actual character of Snape. As much as I love Alan Rickman, one, he was too old. He probably was too good looking for the role. And also in the movies, they didn't. If you just watch the movie, you're like, oh shit, Snape was actually just a really good dude the entire time. That's not the case.
No.
Snape did some brave shit. He did some heroic shit. He did some good things. He also was a massive pile of shit for no fucking reason constantly, especially to the kids that he's supposed to be teaching there. He's not just a good dude, and that's the end of the story. He was just faking it. No,
He was
it's
upset
much more in depth than that.
because he wanted to be black.
Oh,
it
on the
did say in
inside.
that it did say in that article as well, it was a new cast for a new generation. And over here in the UK, there is a massive push to pretend that the country's always been like this, and it was never like the 90s. It's why you see the kings and the queens and everyone throughout history. They've always been black. There was an article just this week. It was like, actually, the people that built Stonehenge were black. And
oh my gosh.
everything's been changed. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this was like, no, all your history, all your culture, it's always been like
So
this.
is history racist and evil? Or is it not?
So did the black people go find that one altar stone that came all the way from Scotland that somehow got there? They were in Scotland too.
Answer
It's a
yes.
bit like the Hobbits. The question is, what happened to them?
An
What
island.
did we do?
An
I
island
love how
off
black
Scotland.
people did all of that, but couldn't find a way to build 2-story buildings in their own fucking continent. It's fucking
Till this
wild.
day.
Speaking as the only grifter on the panel, I just want to thank the team behind the Harry Potter show for doing this. This is gonna be really good content. And,
Massive Harry Potter fan.
Damn, I mean, as Gary talked about this, like if this show was done right, you mentioned this last year. If this show would have been done right, it could have been like the biggest show ever. They had all the potential in the world for this to be the biggest show ever if it's done right, and they have already started to screw it up before it's even premiered. I mean, this is
And the whole fucking train is going to start up again. God damn, you know, you really want these days to pass, but it will be, we're all racist for calling this out, and black people need to be seen. It's like, oh shit, you're just, for one, you did this on purpose. You picked specifically, and I want to hear any fucking bullshit. There's no way this guy was the best guy for the job because he's too good looking to be the fucking, to be
Gay?
Snape. Maybe he's gay. Dude,
no. I was calling you gay.
Like, this guy is
anybody who
true though.
but it's true, you know.
Snape
Gay,
being
gay
He
but
needs
true.
to be ugly.
Snape being a fucking
true that you're gay?
but I'm
I'm not even fucking around.
No, Ryan, they did this on purpose. They did this for the controversy. That's exactly what they're fucking doing.
It's putting their own stamp on it, saying, "Oh, this is our generation. This is the thing we want to change." Even with Dumbledore, I do like John Lithgow. I think he's a great actor, but he's not British.
Fine choice, yes.
He's a good choice, but it is different than what people are thinking. So with the casting so far, they feel like they're trying to make changes. The other castings were so iconic. We're never going to be able to top Snape from the films, and people have that in their head. So let's go black. We're gonna get the controversy. We're gonna get all the talk on the social medias. We're gonna get all that SEO. All that's gonna go into this, and we're not gonna have to try and play the same game as the movies did. That's what it feels like. It just feels lazy.
I heard that Lithgow was going to play Dumbledore as Emilio Lizardo.
He should. At this point, he should. Nobody knows
And
who
are
Emilio
they-
Lizardo is here.
Are they gonna up the gay factor in Dumbledore?
Who doesn't know?
You know, they
Emilio
probably
Lizardo.
will, Garrett. They'll
will.
lead into. I reckon, lead into it.
Because nobody knew when all the books came out, all the movies came out. Nobody knew he was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a
It didn't
sudden he's
matter.
gay and all this stuff and all the backstory and all that thing.
But it didn't matter.
But it didn't matter. But now I feel like they're going to push that. They're going to say, hey, oh, he's gay. We all know he's gay. So we're going to kind of make him a little more flamboyant, more whatever, because he's officially that way in the book. And they're going to use that as a way to just say, look, it said it in the book. It's in the book.
Well, look, I think that obviously his sexuality is important in one small point with the backstory with Grindelwald, right?
Mhm.
That is important, and I think that was kind of probably planned out after she wrote the first couple books. Pretty famously, when they were doing this screenplay for Order of the Phoenix, somebody wrote some lines in there about Dumbledore referencing an ex-girlfriend of his. And J.K. Rowling wrote in there, this has to be out, Dumbledore's gay. And that was before Deathly Hallows came out, like before all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really have a big impact. It has an impact on his life, obviously, but that's not what these books are about. So they could certainly find any way they want to push that out there.
That's what I'm afraid. Yeah.
But
because in the context of the book, he's a mentor. He has no sexual connections at all. He shouldn't be there.
like 120. Well, he's
He's
like over
completely
100.
detached. So it doesn't matter to the book because his sexuality doesn't take a factor until you find out his past. But in the movie or in the shows now, I feel like they're going to push it. I feel like it's a way for them to push things.
Thematically, as Ryan's already brought up, this changes his whole story. I mean, how it's just going to look, the symbolism of it. James and Sirius are going to be racist now. Great. Awesome. Yeah. Well done. You just buried something you paid billions for and your cash. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Your Rings of Powered it. So
yeah.
Went full Rings of Power. Way to go.
That's a great
Warner
analogy.
Brothers, America's dumbest fucking company. They're the most retarded entertainment company on earth. They don't know how to do shit. They can't even keep their fucking YouTube channels from getting hacked.
They're gonna put up at Hogwarts, Warlocks' Lives Matter.
Black Snape called Black Hermione a mudblood.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be fun.
I like how enthusiasm for this show has went from just like, hey, this could be really great to fuck this, nobody cares now. One pretty major decision has affected like all of that enthusiasm.
Do you
We've
think
seen it way too many times.
Do you think that it will affect the number of people who will tune in opening day, though?
No.
I think it's going to do banker numbers.
Yes,
it's going to huge numbers.
Hold on. I think it will affect it. I still think that it's going to pull massive fucking numbers when it hits because it's Harry Potter, right? It's a massive IP. It's probably going to have great production value and all of those things. I think it's going to be a huge draw immediately.
Yeah,
how well that'll sustain, we'll see.
I am a bit concerned about just one of the key parts of Harry Potter is just how much Snape loved Lily. Isn't this going to make it weird?
Maybe
black men can't fawn over white women without it being weird.
Well, I mean, people are gonna say those fucking white women, they screw everything up. So I mean,
but there's an entire black population that's not going to like him, hanging out with a wet girl.
That is true.
Well, by the entire black population, you mean the black women aren't going to like it.
How many baby moms is Snape gonna have?
Dude, the memes are going to be unbelievable. The memes are going to be savage and unbelievable. It's already started.
All these
as much as that's going to be
wizards.
fun. As much as that's going to be fun, I would rather it be a good fucking show that's accurate to the books.
Yeah.
I wish it was.
And if one casting decision is it's going to affect their viewership. It will not reach the heights because it's not accurate, and people are just going to look at it the same way they looked at when Sandman came out. Right? Sandman was so changed by the author. By the way, he was totally okay with that, and it eked out 2 seasons. You know.
I don't even think it's necessarily that it's not accurate. It shows where your priorities lie. That you would prefer to virtue signal than do the story properly.
Yes.
And so it's more a sign of your capability to make the show good compared to whether this is would actually alter the show overall.
Exactly. And that was the argument for Rings of Power when people are like, why are you so mad at a black female dwarf? It's like, well, it's because Tolkien laid out his lore pretty specifically in certain areas, and you chose to ignore it up front. That's a red flag. So if you're going to ignore that, you're probably going to ignore more of the story. And as it turned out, now that we've seen 2 seasons of that crap, that's exactly what they did. And we were right to be concerned. And now we are right to be concerned now because tonally, how much of the story, if they're going to change this, what else are they going to change? Probably a lot.
Sirius Black.
But
He's going to be black.
How do you know Hollywood hasn't run out of white actors?
They've just used them all.
I think they've used them all.
Elon Musk is taking care of that
Like
right
an
now. He's
occasion.
repopulating the earth. Okay, so
One of the bits
Gotta wait a generation.
I can't wait till like Ron's like he's like, hey, who is that teacher up there? Oh, that's Professor Snape. Rumor is he's obsessed with the dark arts job. Fucking do-rag, the only black motherfucker up there. Really wants to teach the dark arts.
One of the bits I always wanted to do was Game of Thrones used up all the good British actors and then just have a show with the lousiest British actors left. Oh yeah, right.
There was a time they were just rotating back and forth from Doctor Who to Game of Thrones. That's how they were just like the same actors.
But I don't think, I'm pretty sure they're not going to pull a Doctor Who on this and make the content full of all this DEI virtue signaling stuff. I mean, one of the things, the original movies did a great job of just ignoring the races of all the different characters. I would hope at the very least they just ignore that he's black.
No,
they can't. They don't have the ability to do that.
You have, right? Harry Potter at its core has kind of bigotry and stuff like that built into it, but it has absolutely nothing to do with race. It's about your blood status. It's about blood purity as a wizard versus as a muggle, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like those like allegories are already very present in the story. Race doesn't matter at all in the Harry Potter world because it's separated by muggles and people that can use magic. I am worried.
It's squibs.
Yes. Unless you're a house
elf.
Dirty,
dirty squibs.
Going to open up, like, because they cast him for a reason. They cast him because he was black. There's no way this was the best person for the fucking role. You have to be kidding me. Especially now that you show you're willing to hire American actors for these roles with John Lithgow. Right? That's the thing that then opens it up to an entire, like, so now anybody is fair game as long as you do a proper British accent. And this guy,
hello, I'm available.
Person for the role.
Okay, so Chris is out then. That's
Hey, all right, Disparu.
Adam Driver is such a no-brainer.
The only film
Adam Driver, yeah.
Adam Driver is a no-brainer for Snape.
And he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
If you're willing to cast American actors in British roles, Adam Driver's the pick.
Yep.
Now,
Oh, I
Yeah,
can be
this guy.
Hermione.
But
In
I
terms
think
of-
you saw with Doctor Who when they race swapped him, they said, well, we couldn't just swap him and not talk about it. That'd be weird. And so they just had a load of white people die because they were too racist to actually go in the TARDIS. So they went really over the top. I think you'll find the same here. They will think, well, we've got to say something because we know he's different. They won't be able to resist it.
Well, I mean, at this point, Hollywood has ruined so many things. They don't deserve any benefit of the doubt. If you see them doing this, you should already judge them. And if they prove you wrong, then that's fine. But they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. And even still, like, this is how, like, stained it is for Hollywood and stuff. Like, when the first time I watched Cobra Kai and I saw them introduce Kenny, I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. He's going to be bullied. They're going to bring racial. They didn't. None of it. He was a great character and he worked for the story. But when I first saw him introduced, like, here we go. He's going to be bullied. It's going to be racial. but they didn't do that, luckily. But none of these companies, none of them deserve the benefit of the doubt based on what we've seen for the past decade. So if they could prove us wrong, that's fine. But until they prove it, we will hold them responsible, because fuck Hollywood.
Well, exactly. You judge it on its merits when it comes out, but that doesn't mean you can't notice the red flags. And I'm sharing a meme that he came out with the Lord of the Rings of Power, where there were so many, red flags. That was the metaphorical them squatting down over the plate, and it's like, yeah, you can kind of see the writing on the wall.
Did you draw this, Chad?
No, this is an old
This
movie.
is an AI.
It's the power of AI.
Terrible.
AI could never produce this.
No, this is art. This is art. Okay,
This is human-made art.
It needs to be in the meme Louvre.
It does. It does. This is great.
I
This is
thought
like the first meme ever.
I thought
Still
the big
applicable.
catalyst for this show was going to be Hermione. I
Yep.
really did. I thought just because you have the stage production that made her black and all the controversy that went along with that, I felt like they were going to feel so much pressure that they had to keep her black in this. And that was going to be like the big catalyst and the big talking point. Never in my fucking life did I think that they'd make Snape black.
Do you know who Hermione is?
Well, they
yet.
did turn down a
Mudblood?
42-year-old man that
Not yet.
auditioned for the role.
Yeah.
I think we give him a chance now.
I think we
Given-
should.
Given what we've got with Snape, why not?
Jason Isaacs should play Hermione. He said he wanted to. Why not?
And
That was
Sharon,
a great joke from him, too.
Yeah.
He was talking about, hey, did you have a lot of fun making the Harry Potter films? He's like, I mean, not really. I was just standing in front of a green screen most of the time. It kind of sucked, but it's really rewarding in the aftermath, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You kind of recovered there a little bit. But Jesus, like, yeah, the cultural shift happens, and some people are just not going to get the memo. They're not. And now you are committed to what, 14 years? Because you're not going to pump out a season every year. That's not going to happen.
Well, I think their goal is going to be, once they get rolling and have the first one come out probably in, they said 2026. I don't know, man. You're gonna have to get going now if you want this.
You better
to come out
start filming
holiday
like tomorrow.
2026.
Yeah.
Right? if you want Sorcerer's Stone to come out in the end of 2026, you better get rolling right fucking now. But once it does come out, I think they want to do 7 seasons in 10 years.
Good luck.
Which is a lot, but I mean, you got the kids; they're gonna age up, all that stuff.
Yep. But then they'll
And
be
you got actors that are
scheduling.
gonna fucking die, like John Lithgow, if you don't get going.
Actors are going to get sick. There's going to be scheduling conflicts. There'll be production delays. And who knows what happens. Like Warner Brothers is not like on the greatest foundation of all right now. Say what if DC just takes a giant shit? Like what do they have? Like they even
they have the Batman sequel. Oh wait, no.
Oh wait, no. Lord of the
Rings.
Rings? No.
Oh, they have a very patriotic Superman.
No. They already delayed The Hunt for Gollum. They delayed that a year. And they could just keep delaying it.
Well, they have the sequel to that very successful Flash. No.
That was also.
Well, they do.
Hey,
they still have Jason
hey.
Momoa as Aqua. No.
House of the Dragon. They really stuck the landing with House of the Dragon by taking off the last 2 episodes of their 10-episode
Taking
season
off
and
the
pissing
landing.
everybody off. All right.
What a
Again,
disaster.
Warner Brothers, the dumbest company in history.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yep. Hey, we do have a quick update on the Gene Hackman situation. I don't know if you guys saw this.
No.
They just did a
No.
press
What's up?
conference.
What's up?
Investigators have determined that he and his wife died from natural causes. She died on February 11th, and he died on February 18th from heart disease and having Alzheimer's. And so apparently the dog died of starvation.
Okay,
no.
I'm understanding.
So she died first through natural causes, and then he died 7 days later with heart disease and Alzheimer's. So he
So
probably
she
had
was-
no.
She was
Yeah.
taking care of him,
Right.
Yeah.
She was probably
and she
taking care-
passed away.
That is terrible.
That is
and a
tragic.
horrible
And
end to a legendary
Yeah.
life. Like,
Because
So
she was
that's
the one
it's
that was mummified, right?
Well, they both were. They
Much
both had
longer.
mummified hands and
So
feet.
this is the first case of double natural causes.
Yeah, maybe.
Man,
Maybe. I mean, he's
Probably not the first. It's probably not the first case of like somebody's caretaker dying, and they can't take care of themselves, and
God, that's so sad.
That's
He
sad.
was-
He
and-
did look
and-
horrible in those pictures.
I mean, he was 95
looked
years old.
old,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
he's 95. The
That's what's
last
gonna happen to you someday, Paul. You're gonna.
I'm 90.
One day.
I'm 90 now.
I'm right behind you, buddy. I'm right behind you. I hope nothing happens
Yes,
to me. I'm here alone.
Yeah, I know.
When did the dog die? I feel bad for the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume the
Yeah,
dog
screw the
probably-
people.
Yeah, well, that's kind of
I
how
mean,
I
the
feel in life too.
people-
I'm usually more sympathetic to the dog than the people.
Poor
That's how
dog.
I am,
Feel bad for that
so,
dog.
If the
Yeah,
dog got
sad.
to live 80 years, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the dog was probably in a crate or locked away.
Well,
or
yes, he
it
was.
couldn't- So, huh?
Yeah.
Apparently he was.
Yeah. So that's just.
So
Oh,
sad.
that's brutal.
Tragic.
But it doesn't change the fact that Gene Hackman is a legend.
Absolute
and there's too many movies we could mention that you should watch if you haven't seen them. Just go to IMDb and look up his movies.
Watch all of them.
Check him out.
Yeah,
Go to Criticlist. Go to Criticlist and look up his movies.
Yeah, there won't be. I mean, he's a unique actor, one of the greatest actors in a generation, and you just won't get actors like him anymore. Not even close. As versatile as he was. Sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks. Getting old sucks. Ryan won't though.
We
Yeah,
need Ryan.
getting old is a drag. I have to take Viagra just to masturbate.
I thought you were going to say I have to take Viagra just to do this show.
Well, isn't
Same
this
difference.
No, that's
masturbation?
us. That's all of
That's all
us.
natural. That's all natural.
That's what I pay everybody in Viagra.
And that's one of the problems with Hollywood is that there are no more Gene Hackmans really out there. And Hollywood is also, and I've talked about this before, they've blown out sort of the middle famous people. Like man, I'll remember the names, but James Coburn, people like that.
Yeah.
You know, so they were never really superstars, but Hollywood had this fantastic group of middle stars that could also open a movie.
Yeah.
Right. And that's gone. They're completely gone. Lee Marvin, you know, was never a superstar, but I'd go see a Lee Marvin film.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not just the big stars that Hollywood have lost. They've lost sort of a very important middle class of actors that we always enjoyed going to see.
Well, I think what they've forgotten is it's the audience that picks the stars, not them.
Yeah.
And so now
True.
you get Zendaya in every movie, despite the fact that nobody wants her in anything and nobody particularly likes her in it. So they're trying to force people on the audience rather than going, well, you were successful in that. Let's see if you can blow up into a whole career.
They're picking Zendaya, whatever her name is, and others off of, and we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago, Ryan, based on Instagram followers
and social media.
Social media, because she has 200 million followers on Instagram, so she's in every single movie now. They also, Hollywood got rid of those actors because they got rid of those actors' films. There's no middle film. It's only the blockbusters.
No.
So we got rid of all of those great, like, clock in, clock out actors that did the work and were really great.
Yeah.
All the character actors are gone
Well,
because they don't have anything to do.
they're still out there. They're just not getting the roles like Snape, which should go to a character actor of some sort and not just a virtue signal.
And not just character actors, but also those with like more classical training. Like one of the reasons why it's really fun to think back to the movies that Robin Williams was able to make was that he was able to do both drama and comedy. And why? Because he actually did have classical training. And so he was able to handle, but comedy's hard, right? But he was able to do those dramatic performances because of his experiences. You don't have those actors anymore that can do any single role in any type of movie or multiple genres or anything. Most actors don't even want to cross different genres because they just want to, get their paycheck and let everything else do the work for them.
I think if the actors all twerked on screen, that's what we need in film
That's what we
today.
need. I'd like to see Lee Van Cleef twerking.
Yes.
I mean, at this point,
G-string and all.
it's more about social media followers than anything.
Yep.
I mean, that's why Zendaya is such a big star, and I put quotation marks around that because that's how they perceive her. She's got, I don't know how many followers she has on social media, but she's got a ton of followers on social media, and that's how they perceive it. Oh, if we can get this person to be in the movie, she has a bunch of followers. She posted on her Instagram, and it can promote the movie. And I don't think that works. I don't think that works at all. I think that she keeps getting cast in movies like Spider-Man and Dune, but like, what's the Zendaya movie that has been a big, huge success. That she's been the lead in that wasn't tied to a previous franchise.
You said success. When you asking
audiences.
When you're
Like,
asking what is this
Pinterest and
Zendaya movie?
Instagram, Pinterest and Instagram are almost entirely female platforms. So unless you had like a rom-com, that would be a great thing for her to advertise on Instagram, but not a male-orientated action movie.
Good point.
But didn't she have a rom-com where she got railed by 2 guys and it still bombed?
Yeah,
That was
the Challengers.
Challengers. I don't know if it was a rom-com or not. I never watched it.
Because that's the
She got
only
railed by
movie
2
that
guys
I,
though.
That was like the one scene that got a lot the most attention.
When you say the Zendaya movie, that's the only one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
where I-
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I don't
Odyssey.
really like. I don't hate her like everybody else hates her, but I just don't care about her either. I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't hate her either.
I just
Yeah,
have
I'm
no,
not
no
against
strong
her.
opinions on
Yeah.
her whatsoever. But she does pop up in
Overexposed.
everything.
She's
Yes.
overexposed. Pedro
Yes, she
Pascal is
is.
overexposed.
Mhm.
And it's not to say Pedro Pascal once in a while can be a decent actor in something. Yes, he can. But
I like Pedro in a decent amount of things.
Yeah.
I hate him. I hope a fucking piano falls on his head or some shit.
in
But
Minecraft,
in Minecraft,
In Looney
of course,
Tunes.
The
but
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent that he did was hilarious. Like him and Nick Cage had great comedic chemistry with each other.
it's
I
just
don't think he fits as Reed Richards.
No.
No.
They didn't
But I
know
guess we'll
it
see when
either.
that comes out.
You know, I still think most of Zendaya's massive followers and a lot of these Hollywoods are mostly bots, and most people actually just don't give a crap, and they can't turn the needle when they get cast in things.
I mean, I've like.
no,
if you-
I don't think that's the case. I think people have tons of fucking followers out there. I think the disconnect is the people that are making these movies that think because someone has Instagram followers that results in box office
Views.
money, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
that, I just don't think that that's the case at all. And
I think
is so
Hollywood
very
celebrities
disconnected.
bot their followings all the time. They pay I reckon there's marketing teams that will go out behind the scenes and pay bot farms to sign up and get massive followings.
You'd be an idiot not to. If you knew that
Yeah.
you getting your job was contingent on your followers.
Mm.
bot
I mean,
followers.
she is 100% popular. She has been a star for a long time since she was a little kid. So there's definitely a following there, and I get why she has a following. I don't understand why she's treated like she's this phenomenal actress that's so great and she needs to be in everything. Like
It's
that's
like
the
Joker
disconnect.
too, right? Lady Gaga is massive, right? She has a massive social media presence, has a huge fan base, right? Maybe not, might not be the target demographic for that, but it is huge.
Right.
They cast her. Oh, look, we're gonna do this thing in Joker 2. It's gonna be fucking great, and it makes less than a fifth of the original one. Not because Lady Gaga has fake bot followers, but because that doesn't actually equate to money if the product sucks or if the people that are following that person aren't interested in the product.
Do you think the ending of Dune 2 was changed to not piss off her crowd?
No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
I think that was a very strategic thing by Denis, and I think the way her character acted the entire time was also strategic by Denis to try to get across to the audience that what Paul's doing is not a good thing. And even with that hitting people over the head, you still had people that didn't even understand that in the fucking movie. But that's what I think.
I was just curious because, you know, societally she would have had to accept Paul marrying the other world without question, without being bitchy about it. That's what happened in medieval times. That's what happened in the books. I found that very off-putting in the movie, but I don't want to.
And so did a lot of
Dude, you know what's interesting is when Dune 2 came out, I remember the hype in that first week. It felt like everybody was sending it to the moon, and I don't feel like that was sustained at all. I mean, I didn't like it as much as part one the first time I watched it, but when that first week, you remember everybody was going fucking crazy over Dune 2, and I'm like, it was okay. It's not as good as part one, in my opinion.
It did better financially.
It did. It 100% did. I mean, Dune part one really flew under the radar in a lot of ways, and
It also got released on HBO at the same time. It was day and day
exactly.
release.
It got released day and day on HBO. I think that what it make Odin around $750 million worldwide. That's what
Dune
Part
2, right? Yeah.
I think
Dune
it's somewhere in that realm. And I thought it was the best cinematic experience I had in theaters last year.
Get a blowjob
probably
or
without a
something there?
doubt.
Like, what the hell?
It's that and Nosferatu.
No.
The
Jeremy,
pissed
it
me
was
off, dude,
it
so
was the
I was-
popcorn bucket, so effectively the same thing.
Okay.
Ooh,
But,
But
but
715 million. 715.
But with that being said, I kind of said all along, I don't think that Dune is a very palatable story for a massive, wide amount of people. It's a weird book. It's a tough book to read. It's a fucking tough thing to adapt. And I don't know if that type of... I don't know how much better it could do.
I can't wait for the worm when he becomes a worm.
I don't think you're not going to see that. You're not going to see that in Dune Messiah.
Come on.
Like in terms of how popular it'd be for a wide audience, could you say that the same with like Oppenheimer or something like that? I think if the film is just genuinely good, it can blast through that barrier.
I'm still shocked.
Genuinely good.
I'm still shocked. Oppenheimer made almost $1 billion. It's absolutely fucking retarded.
Because I would have assumed Oppenheimer's audience would have been much smaller.
I liked it, but a 3-hour biopic that didn't even have a lot of like action at all. I
watched it twice, but then I studied to be a nuclear physicist.
Oh, there you go. So now, did you like it? Did you like it though? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it twice. I'm a huge Nolan fan already, except for his shitty Man of Steel script and all that. But we won't talk about that. But yeah, I liked it. But I still can't understand how that movie made almost $1 billion, and Dune Part 2 only made like $750 million, which is crazy to think about. Because I think Dune Part 2 is far more for the general audience than Oppenheimer. Right, far more. Because just on action.
You would. I wanted more gear porn in Oppenheimer, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It did have boobs, so that's always a good thing.
Is that the key? Is that what?
But it needs gear porn and boobs. Florence Pugh, it's the combination. Yeah, it's Florence Pugh boobs though, which are like
like A's maybe.
Yeah. I would fuck the shit out of Florence Pugh. Shut the fuck up, guys. Come on, don't fucking pretend like you guys wouldn't.
This dude, I had this discussion the other day on Cobra Cast. Like, people calling Sydney Sweeney mid. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, stop. The internet was a mistake. If you're calling Sydney Sweeney mid, stop. Just stop.
Yeah, all these people.
There's a difference between these two women you're talking
about.
Go
to a bar to try to take home a one. All of them are calling Sydney Sweeney mid. Oh, Florence Pugh, she doesn't quite have the right size boobs for me. Go fuck yourself. You wouldn't a heartbeat.
We didn't say we didn't like them, Ryan. We appreciate the boobs, and we're just calling it. We're calling balls and strikes here. They're not big.
I like Ryan went full Michael Jordan, and I took that personally.
I know.
I think Gary is saying that there's Florence Pugh, and then there is Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. Yes. Right. We're just pointing it out. I'm not saying cover up the boobs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not.
Sydney Sweeney's boobs. Go watch Euphoria.
On a scale from Pugh's boobs to Sydney Sweeney.
I will say that Mickey 17 could have used Sydney Sweeney as the female lead.
Oh God.
It could have used a hell of a lot.
Should we transition?
Should we transition? Let's go. Let's go ahead and play some women's sports now.
Here we go.
Beat the shit out of them.
Are we transitioning?
Yeah.
Okay. To Mickey 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll transition
to something else.
I don't know. I was just asking. I'm just here for the ride, guys.
I figured we'd talk about it since you watched it.
So yeah, I did watch it.
Boobs next week.
How many people here watched it? I'll try to keep this short. Okay. So we've seen it.
I have thoughts.
I have tons of thoughts. Good concept. I thought it was a decent conceptually going in. A worker who gets replicated over and over again. Now, it reminds you of Moon. It should remind you of Moon a little bit. Moon was a better fucking movie, by the way. A lot better movie.
Great film.
It's a great movie.
Robert Pattinson's a really good actor. I think he is. I think he's he's blossomed and got past Twilight. I think he's really good. And he's good in this. It's a piece of shit. Really? It's a boring slog piece of shit with fucking dumb Trump supporters. Mark Ruffalo playing Trump the whole fucking time.
I couldn't stand him. Mark Ruffalo is easily
my beautiful show.
He's really annoying.
Easily the worst part of the whole film, and the film is already
he's
struggling.
distractingly bad.
Yeah.
And overacting. It felt like I was in the middle of a domestic dispute that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Because you've got all this stuff about Trump. I'm like, I don't know whether this is meant to be a joke or whether there's references I'm not getting. I know he's Trump, but none of this fits into the story at all.
No.
And I don't know why it exists.
Well, okay, he's Trump based on tan, the way he looks, And you can see through every pore how much like Ruffalo hates him. So he plays a caricature of him. He's a congressman who's lost 2 elections. So you fully expect while they were making this movie, they fully expected one certain thing to go down the way it did, and it didn't.
Did you see the Ruffalo interview?
No,
where he's talking about it.
Find the clip.
He said something along the lines of, I was playing this really awful dictator, and I thought I actually overplayed it and overacted it, but it turns out that I underplayed it compared to reality.
No, I think
it's just admitting what it is.
No. What they were going for was surreal, like a surreal science fiction thing. That's why I initially liked the trailer. I'm like, even though he's in it, this looks kind of weird, and I like that. I'm a big Terry Gilliam fan, and it was trying very hard to be that, and it just didn't pull it off. And it's pretty terrible, and it's long. It's freaking long.
I wouldn't go Terry Gilliam. I thought it was a bad Luc Besson film.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's to me was what it was, and between Bong Joon-ho and not Garofalo and what Mark Ruffalo, they couldn't decide whether they were making fun of Christians in the Tammy Faye Baker, Jimmy Baker. They couldn't decide whether that was what they were doing. I thought there was a bit of Elon Musk there because they're going to another planet to
absolutely
populate it with white people, which is why they had a black lead, which I didn't get. And so I couldn't. I mean, yes, I could see the Trump, but it was like they were picking and choosing. They couldn't decide what the bad guy was.
Yeah, it was an evangelist. Yeah,
yes.
It was an amalgamation of mocking Christianity.
Yes.
The
Trump supporters and Trump
evangelists.
Nexian.
Trump supporters. Yeah, they had a bunch of people with red shirts and red hats on.
Right.
Being stupid.
You can actually point out specific things, like his supporters are specifically wearing red hats. He starts to do a Trump dance.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Absolutely, he does this.
Absolutely,
yes, he does this during the dinner scene. He definitely has more of a tan than normal, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, he wants a beautiful white planet and all this bull crap. It is. Obviously, he's trying to make an insane Trump parody, and this is the clip where he just flat out admits it, right? So let me know if you guys can hear the audio, but this is him.
I got it.
You got it?
And I play a petty dictator. At the time, we shot it 3 years ago, and I thought, this is over the top. At the time, and now I realize it's totally underplayed.
God, I hate this dude.
I hate him so much.
But he genuinely thinks this is like an honest portrayal of Trump. That's what they think of Trump. That's what they think of his supporters, and what they think of Christianity and religion. And it's they completely make a caricature, mockery, just dunking on the whole time, and it ruins an already pretty bland, boring film, and it just makes it insufferable. I hate it.
It just comes across like he's a bad actor in this. It just comes across like a bad performance. If you didn't know Mark Ruffalo and you watch this, you'd be like, "Oh, he's a terrible actor."
And they'll say it's supposed to be bad. Well, it's supposed to be good. If you're doing a caricature, it's still supposed to be good. It's not supposed to be bad. So
the bigger problem was that he wasn't much of an antagonist.
No,
and you can't have a movie or a story without a really strong antagonist, and it's the weakest part of the movie itself. So irrespective of Mark Ruffalo's performance, and Colette, who was terrible also with him, I mean, they were kind of both riffing. It sounded like they were ad-libbing half their stuff, and it was just unctuous and petty and childish and small, and didn't feel like, for instance, Sutherland in Hunger Games. You needed to have something bigger to fight against. And I could very well see the movie structured in the way that, with all the sycophants that he had on board, which they didn't use, that Mickey 17 might have printed off like 100 versions of himself just to fight off the sycophants. Like, that would have been a neat story, right? Wouldn't that have been cool?
Yeah, but why did the movie exist in the first place? It's like, well, we're trying to save this group of aliens from him. It's like, yeah, but why is he trying to kill them? At no point did he even come up with a reason why the story was happening in the
There
first
was a rumor that the little buggers ate humans.
Oh no, it was because he was a racist and he just hated him. Because
he just hated them. He was calling them aliens, and of course the black woman had to correct him, the creepers. And they wanted the tails. The wife wanted the tails for her sauce.
Snack,
for her sauce.
Make a sauce.
Yeah,
which was so much of this film was built on complete stupidity. It was all retarded. And this is the thing, right? Because they believe Trump is like what they're depicting, they just think, oh, people just blindly follow him because they're idiots. So no, people follow Trump for a reason. If you actually had someone legitimately as retarded as this character, no one would follow him. But that's what they wanted to depict in the film. And so nothing makes sense. It's like this retarded idiot, seriously, like leading these sycophants, right, across the stars.
To set up his own religion. That's that moment loyalty he had for people.
Has anyone read the book that this is based off?
I haven't.
Book? No, the only other woman in the theater with me is me and this one other girl. She read the book. She said the book was a lot better. And I was like, well, I'm never gonna read that. So
well, I just missed the story. I missed the movie from the trailer, the first trailer, which made it look like a comedy. That looked really good.
Trailer. Yeah, like a dark comedy.
I did too. And if we would have just focused on him like dying, showing his deaths and coming back, and then there's another copy there, so that's what they're doing. And if they explore like each Mickey has a different personality, like that would have been really fun if they would have just interacted. Instead of it turning into like making the black woman the hero at the end.
That was stupid.
Like, what the fuck? And then there's a line where she specifically says, "This is why you lost both elections." Like, it's like, come on. Like laying it on thick, and yes, they filmed it 3 years ago, and that's how they saw things.
The movie is badly written. Yeah. There's all sorts of plot conveniences in it. The entire setup with the mob could be deleted. The sequence where the one guy is chased down by a mob member could be deleted. The whole movie could have started with Mickey just lining up to get off the planet because his life sucks and he pressed the button that killed his mom. It could have just started there.
Yep.
It didn't need it's more than 2 hours long. I
know. The only thing I liked was the first set of multiples that were just murderers.
Yeah, that was
an
great.
Evil scientist, and he's out there, he's got he's his own alibi, and so he's got one copy being used as an alibi while he's out there murdering people. That's why you don't have multiples. Like, that was good. And they don't revisit that.
There's loads of scenes which serve literally no point. So you get to the end of the movie, and suddenly he's back, and they're like, "We're going to blow up this cloning machine." Then you're in a different room with a cloning machine.
Yeah,
it was a dream of some kind. Yeah,
and it goes nowhere. He just goes, "Oh, I have dreams sometimes."
Well, on top of all that, like he does nothing to actually achieve anything of significance or save the end thing. Like, it's the black girl that comes and saves him.
Yep.
He's thrown out as a sacrifice to the aliens. And so he's just being pushed around by everyone else, and he does nothing. He's a retard. He's an actual idiot, right? Who doesn't know what to do. And so you're not invested in this character at all.
Nope.
He could have died. I wouldn't have given a crap. In fact, everyone could have died, and it would have been a better ending for me.
Yeah, I was rooting for the creepers just to blow up everybody's heads.
I like the pill bugs. Now, when you write a screenplay, they set it up well that he was an individual that was not particularly well equipped to manage his own life. But if I was writing this, I would have found a way for him to find a way to be the hero at the very end.
That's what you would assume.
Like
not blazing guns, not anything else. Some clever way within the context of his personality to solve the problem at the very end. That's what good writing is.
Exactly.
I'm rooting for him to solve the situation.
Well, Chato, what I was actually expecting them to do, but I need to stop giving these idiot writers the benefit of the doubt, because whenever they set something up and I think, oh, that would lead to a natural payoff this way, which would be interesting. And what I thought they were going to do, when he eats the steak that has the experimental growth hormone in it, and then he gets injected with another experimental drug, right, that is going through so much insane pain, I thought that was going to give him some measure of superhuman abilities,
that'd be cool.
strength or power or something like that. And it's still this average guy that now has an extraordinary ability that he needs to use to try and save everyone, which is a cool concept. Exactly. Well, it could have led to a cool concept where it thrusts an average Joe into an important role because now he has this ability. They just passed over it. He threw up, and that was it. And I was like, oh, and it's still an idiot and doesn't achieve anything. And I was like, that's where I thought they were going to go, but
well, how do you come up with an ending with a Mark Ruffalo character, Marshall, who is scared of his own shadow and needs his wife to push him anywhere, and they get him to go out in amongst 100,000 pill bugs that are charging around like mad bison? That's the first thing I'm going to think of. Yeah,
that made no sense.
Let's get this scared guy to go out and talk to the giant pill bug. Now, it would have actually made sense for the Colette character to say, hey, you're a fucking useless asshole. I'm going to go out there and battle the pill bugs, because she was the strong one. But why did he go out? There was no reason for him to go out except to get immolated.
So, and this entire third act goes way too long, and I'm not even going to bore you with it. So it's directed by Bong Joon-ho, who was not the guy who hacked DC today. I just want to point that out. That's a totally different name.
Or the pilot that crashed that plane, We Too Low. Different people.
No, that's his brother. That's his brother.
We Too Low.
No, he directed Parasite. And Jeremy, who was the guy who had the parasite rant? Robert Storms.
Robert Storms.
Yeah. I want to see what he thinks of this movie. If you don't recall, that rant went viral.
All I'm going to tell you is the greatest day of Robert Storm's life was the day you just mentioned his name on this show. He's going to his little penis will never stop being hard now because he got mentioned on FNT.
That's good.
Fucking loser.
Dude, his rant.
He went so
viral. Oh God.
Don Cheadle was talking about it.
I
know. So this film sucks already. It has all these problems, and then the Trump derangement syndrome antagonist, who's just gets himself killed by the end, made it utterly unbearable. I hate this film more than worse films that I've watched, recently in the past, just because of
even their slanderous themes don't make sense. So there's a lot of talk about making a pure colony.
Yeah,
it's like, well, if you want to go down the supremacy route, the people you've got on the ship don't make sense anymore.
Yeah, it's really diverse. There's a lot of diverse supremacy going on. So
and then there's a bit where they're sitting down at the table. And it's like, you're the perfect breeding stock.
Yeah,
and we've just found out that her girlfriend died earlier.
Yeah, she's a lesbian.
She gets with a guy. Then right at the end of the movie, she gets with the most stereotypical lesbian you've ever seen in your life. But if you want to repopulate an entire planet, why are any of these people?
Why are you bringing lesbians?
That's not going to help out. But he literally says, it's a beautiful white planet, and so therefore, he's a racist, but he has all these black people on the ship. It's not like they can't even be consistent with their own.
He did bring turkey basters.
And you know what? You know why that happens? It's because if they stuck to the actual theme that they want to put forwards, they couldn't have diversity in the movie.
Right.
So they have to contradict themselves and still try and spin it and just ignore the contradiction.
No, and I mean, I don't want to spend a ton of time because I don't think anybody's gonna see this. Warner Brothers did. They put out the trailers. They buried it. And I think they knew it was gonna suck, and it did. And it's like there was a point after that first trailer I was looking forward to it. I'm like, okay, this looks kind of weird and cool.
It looked interesting.
Yeah.
I was actually
and Pattinson's performance is great, and the special effects insofar as the family trap, or whatever is it called, the Disney movie where they had the two girls,
the Parent Trap.
The Parent Trap stuff was brilliant.
You mean the three-way Parent Trap?
Yeah, I'm talking about the two of them together was seamless.
Yeah,
it was really seamless. And this is one movie which I didn't know what to think when I came out of the theater. wrote the initial review, and then started hating it more and more and more until this morning.
So the more you think about it, yep.
The more I thought about it, the more I hated it.
There were no good white men, which I feel like is just annoying and has been done to death.
This is a good director too. He did Snowpiercer. That was a good movie. Parasite. It won, didn't it?
Yeah,
it won an Oscar for it, and a lot of people love that movie. I haven't seen that film, but I really like Snowpiercer. It feels like he got Hollywood-ified.
Yeah.
He came over and they were like, well, okay, you got a nice little concept here. What if we like infused it with a bunch of bullshit?
This is kind of how this is what he's known for, though. I mean, because like he made another film called Okja several years ago, and it was all about like environmentalism, and it was like that.
So there's already
he's very much always had this like political bent to it. I think it's just that he's was it Korean? I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to.
That's the thing. He always wants to do this, but like the message affects the quality of the movie. So in Snowpiercer, it works because you're all stuck on a train, and so that even though it's about class, it works within the context and it's something that everyone can identify with. In this, it's just I hate this guy specifically.
Yeah,
and like, so well, I don't care. I'm in a different country. It means nothing to me. And you're trying to sell it around the world. This is why I felt like I was in a domestic dispute.
I did not like Snowpiercer. I watched it one time and I felt like it was way too on the nose. With the messaging and shit. Plus, I just hate Chris Evans. So, but I did not like. I only watched it once, and I heard so many good things about Snowpiercer. That's why I watched it. And I did not like.
Tilda Swinton was great, but that's like the one thing I really liked about the film.
I did not like.
Pull up that article. It's in the private chat. Ryan,
hey, we do. Well, I'm gonna drop a link. First images of Black Snape have hit online.
Oh, there we go.
Bring that up real quick.
There we go.
Here we go.
Here. So,
man,
you're gonna know about this one. So
Warner Brothers is working fast.
Yeah. So here we go. Right here.
Here we go. Right here.
Black Snape.
Right here. What is he doing? He's in his emo phase.
God, how long ago was that, Ryan? Was it like 2 years ago?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler used to do like wild things with his hair for NBA Media Day.
I can't believe that's
So
not
he did
AI.
an emo Jimmy.
That's so
when
funny.
they take your picture for the picture that's used all throughout the rest of the fucking season.
That's great. I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Jimmy. Yeah.
Oh.
Why didn't they go with a Wayans brother for Snape?
Well, Snape's a force on the boards. All right, we knew that. So
what are the Wayans brothers up to these days?
They're making scary movie.
Making a scary movie.
Remaking Scary Movie, or going to make another scary movie. Like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, remember when it was like, oh my God, we're getting a third of a movie? I'm going way back to Paul Chato's time, where it's like they're making a third movie. God, that's ridiculous. And now we're like, oh, like the big thing is a Shrek 5. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There's a
We're
new
in
Final
deep, boys.
Destination movie coming out this year.
There's
I
a
saw
what?
it when I went to see Mickey 17. Final Destination. They're doing another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Final-
how many is there
finaler.
now?
The
Stop it,
finaler
though.
destination.
And they brought it all back around in a big circle. Gonna continue. All right.
Man, I still can't ride behind a truck.
Oh, dude, with clogs on it?
Yeah,
Yes.
No,
What?
no
Let's
way.
get the
No.
ice
No.
scissors
Scarring.
stuff.
Still freaks me out.
Dude, I take my foot
No,
off the
dude.
gas. I'm like, okay, you can just get ahead. Like, 20 car lengths, it's good.
Like 2 years ago, some dude got stuck to the bottom of a pool and had his anus ripped out.
Ooh,
with
yeah.
suction under the pool.
Wait.
Whoa! Oh,
What?
he's sitting
I
on
never heard
the
about
he's
this,
sitting
yeah.
on the
He was
grave.
on the drain.
Yeah, he defied
Stuck
death.
on the drain. His asshole got stuck
for
on
him.
the drain, and it got like the pressure
Sucked his
started building,
asshole
so it was
out.
Kind of stuck, and all of a sudden you just start seeing like blood come up through the thing.
Yeah.
It's
Was he trying to have like anal pleasure, or is it just a horrible accident?
He was going down there to try to get something like a coin that got dropped in the water.
Oh
or some
no!
shit.
That's the same
Fucking
thing.
coin,
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh,
I just
this
happened to
stuff,
walk
Matt.
over
That's
the
the
middle
prison
part.
trick,
Yeah.
isn't it? Gary?
What?
Gary, isn't the coin on the floor the prison trick?
Oh.
You kick that shit all the way. Well, there's no coins. But the
Coin
deal
on a
is,
rope.
you know what? If it hits the floor, fuck it. You're just like, nope, I'm not. It's going to stay there or I'm going to kick it to myself with my back against the wall.
Maybe the
Hey,
black
Gary,
Snake
there's
thing
a-
will be
I dropped
cool
a
and
coin on the
creative,
floor.
right? Maybe we'll get to see some stuff we weren't expecting in the wizarding world. Like maybe Snape will have a switch installed on his wand. He can just like full auto Avada Kedavras.
Yeah.
Maybe
Spinners
he'll
on his
be
broom.
walking by a sneaker store. right? Akio Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? They could do a lot of things.
See all Jordans.
A Target somewhere.
I think the Swans need Siri.
Is it Asio or Akio?
I always, when I saw it, when I read it in the book, I read Akio.
Yep.
Obviously, there's different versions that are used. Axio is one of them.
Yep.
Asio, I've heard as well.
Asio.
Asio. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you
I've
a
heard
question.
read it. Yeah, I have no.
Akio is always the way I've looked at it and read it. So.
That's good, Chris.
I read it Asio.
Yeah, so did I. It's probably wrong, but whatever. Hey, Ryan covered this on Geeks and Gamers Daily. Is this factual? It's from the Post Millennium.
The second part of the I don't know about the second part of the headline. But yes, the Win or Lose, which is the Pixar series on Disney Plus that caught a lot of controversy a couple months ago when they made the big announcement that they were removing the transgender child story arc from the thing, and all the activists at Pixar and Disney Animation, they all got really furious that they would dare remove this trans storyline from this children's show. But yes, one of the characters that's featured in it, who I believe is the daughter of the softball coach, she is shown like specifically on her knees praying to God for help, like to keep her, like help her do the right thing and help her succeed and not let down her father and stuff like that. Now, whether that is the first explicitly Christian character in 30 years, I don't know about that. They're probably referencing Hunchback of Notre Dame. But I don't know. You'd have to go digging through every single Disney-made thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. They don't deserve any credit for removing something they should have never put in there in the first place. So fuck them. And I don't know if this is, I don't know. I mean, like Ryan said, who knows if this is the first one? That's a lot of, have we actually seen the clip or have we just heard the dialogue?
I've seen the clip on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the clip.
So I mean, the takeaway is they took away a trans character and they added a Christian character, which
it's so pandering. Let's
I
pander
also
from
feel-
one to
or
the
the
other.
or the character was always there, but like that's the one they
was always
keep.
there.
Yeah.
A lot of headlines are saying Disney adds Christian character after cutting trans storyline. I think this was always in play, but it is present, and you know, unlike transgender children, Christian children actually do exist. So,
yeah, I mean, ultimately, just tell good stories, man. It really, you don't have to worry about it. Just tell good stories without putting pandering stuff into it. But Disney still has all of these people that are responsible for this stuff there. A lot of those executives are still there. They have not changed, by the way, and they're never going to change as long as they are there. This is the future of Disney, and that's just the bottom line. They can shift and they can twist it up a little bit because the numbers aren't good, but at the end of the day, once they have an opportunity, they will continue to go back down this road. That's the truth of the matter. So until there's an Elon Musk situation like with Twitter, you can never have faith that Disney's going to turn things around. Not going to happen.
There's a truth in business. Culture eats strategy. So no matter how much you strategize, where you want to go with the company, whatever your culture is, it will kill it.
That's actually very
Unless you change it, which is very difficult. Very hard when you're that big. Yeah.
And I do think, like, I have no faith in Disney of changing or anything like that necessarily. However, when you look specifically at a couple of the Inside Out 2, which came out this year, made $1.6 billion, whatever the hell it was. You had animators and people within the studio that were very upset because you had people from up top come down and say, hey, we think some of these scenes are a little ambiguous. We don't want there to be any fucking question. We don't want a single person asking us if Riley is gay, right? We don't want there to be any hint of that. So they were asked to specifically make sure that that wasn't the case. Now you have another show, another Pixar show for kids, that they come in and they axe this transgender storyline. I think that's indicative that they know this is really bad for business. And for right now, there's kind of a top-down mandate to stay on lookout for some of this shit. And that doesn't mean that that's a permanent change. That doesn't mean that everyone's changing their ways, guys. They're coming back. It is something, though. It's interesting to see that's all happening surrounding their specifically children's entertainment right now.
Well, just what you said. It sounds like this is a top-down thing where some of the management has actually gotten the message that, people don't want this stuff, but all the workers seem to be fully on board. Because wasn't there outcry by this people who actually made that show that wanted the trans character? They were all
because the place is full of activists.
Yes.
Film Threat did that piece not that long ago. That was specific about Walt Disney Animation Studio, but how they had hired all these activists and basically forced all the old white men out and brought in talentless activist bucks. And that was Walt Disney Animation, which is separate from Pixar. But if that's going on there, you have to imagine a similar thing might be going on to other similar factions of the company.
And bringing in those talentless activists actually on the surface in the beginning, saved them a lot of money. They were cheaper labor. And they also got their little boxes checked for any other funding they wanted. ESG, and they didn't really think, they're like, anybody can do this. Come on, how hard could it be?
And it also affected animation schools. I live here very close to Sheridan College, which is one of the premier animation schools in North America, that gave us Steve Williams and people like that. Those of you who know who Steve Williams is. He's the one who gave us the 3D dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Convinced Spielberg that it can be done. So that it has a fantastic record. And at one point, obviously, the majority of the 3D artists were males. And because of what Disney was doing, because Disney influences the industry all over North America, I did an expose on Sheridan just last year, and they had 27 people in class, only 2 men.
Insane.
Because they were hiring women only, so that affected the people who were going to go to this prestigious school. There was no room for men, so guys did not go to Sheridan to learn how to do 3D animation because there's no jobs for them.
That's happening in all kinds of industries. There's been lots of pieces recently about how men aren't reading fantasy anymore. And then you go and look for the fantasy books which are getting published, and it's like 99% female authors.
I was just thinking of that. Male fantasy novels are just being basically blacklisted from literary agents and publishing houses. And so fantasy genre, apart from the really big names like Sanderson, it's all what they call romantasy now. And male
and that's
fantasy...
just because he got grandfathered in. Like, if he wasn't big before, they would have just cut him.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, they don't want to cater to men. It's as simple as that.
One thing that's going to be interesting over the next 6 months to a year is how Disney's going to have to respond because of Epic Universe opening up in Universal Orlando, and that's going to hit them hard. I don't know how hard it's going to hit them, but it's going to hit them hard. And Walt Disney World's such a big money maker for them, and so with Epic Universe opening in a couple of months, they are not going to have as much to fall back on some of those theme park profits that they historically have. And a lot of their movies aren't doing as well as they have historically either. So they're going to have to make shifts in order to keep up with the culture. But I still think it's going to be fool's gold unless you start to actually publicly come out and say how you shamed Gina Carano, which is not. Obviously, that's caught up in the courts or it's the legal system right now. And the behavior that they've had. We already see the spin for Kathleen Kennedy's already starting right now with some of the shill outlets for Star Wars. So it's going to take time, but we'll see how they react. But I'm definitely paying attention to that.
Sorry, I was looking for something. Where did it go? Hey, I would too. Hard transition here. Speaking of Warner Brothers, one of their biggest subsidiary YouTube channels got hacked, and as of right now, it is gone.
What?
Wow. It is gone. The DC Comics YouTube, DC Studios YouTube is off of YouTube. You cannot go there right now. It got hacked.
They'll get it back.
They will. They will.
But it happened when we were live today.
It did. It did.
Because I had it pulled up and I was going through comments because apparently some young Korean dude or something hacked him. Jin Woo.
Wow.
I guess I don't know what his name was. Jin Woo, something like that.
Something wrong.
And there was 1 million Korean comments on the most recent video. And so I was going through them. It stopped scrolling down, and the chat's just screaming out. They just took it down. And sure enough, I refresh on the page, and the channel is gone.
Wow.
How big was this channel?
Like 5 million or something.
Damn.
Okay. So
And
is this one of their
happens-
so this is one of their primary channels then?
This is the one where they uploaded the Superman trailer. Like
Okay.
the Superman trailer that had 56, 58 million views or whatever. As they're about to hit their stride for marketing Superman in the summer, like start getting that stuff out, is right now down.
Yeah, this is why having a strong password's important. If it really was Superman 1, 2, 3.
This happens all over the time. If you search like Elon Musk.
Oh
and
god,
crypto,
the Tesla
like,
channels are
it's what it
insane.
immediately gets done to, and they don't need your password. Two-factor authentication doesn't work. Linus Tech Tips got hacked by it. Essentially, you download something, it copies your cookies, which has your login, so you're already logged in on the browser, and it just clones your browser, and it just thinks that you're logged in already. So it bypasses everything.
Don't
They
click
can
on
keep
links
the
too.
Marvel sucks 1, 2, 3 password.
Yeah. But who was the kid? What was the name of the kid again? June.
Jin Woo.
Jin Woo.
Long.
Jin
I don't know.
Woo.
Bong Joon-ho.
Well, you guys
That's what it was, a long
that's what it
game.
was.
WB.
Was the password literally just Superman 123 Internet reacts to DC's YouTube channel being reportedly hacked? Again, millions of subs.
No, reported.
James Gunn rocks. or
That's
something.
exactly what I was gonna fucking say. Right? I was gonna say James Gunn is God. That is that's the password. Because James Gunn is more.
Yeah, here's
yeah.
youtube.com/DC.
Wow.
Wow. That's the best content ever.
It's never been better.
Never been better.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's taken this long to get back, but it's YouTube. So
YouTube replied. So Discussing Film tweets out, the DC studios or the DC YouTube account has been hacked reportedly by a middle schooler.
Oh.
And YouTube responds, thanks for bringing this to our attention. Channel owner we can provide them the next steps.
Now that's
You blocked
technically not
Discussing
called a
Film?
hack.
It's probably because they blocked him.
Oh,
So-
yes, I've been blocked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but why did you block them?
I would
Because I block people that block me.
I still use them though because since Elon made it where we can see
What?
it now. Yeah.
That's technically not called a hack.
I'm,
That's
I'm
social
loving
engineering.
Garrett's logic here. You block me, I'll block you, motherfucker.
Fuck you.
I'll block you first.
You won't know.
I don't block anybody
benefit
else
my
except for
tweets.
people that block me.
You can see the at has been changed to Jim Woo. JW 10710, like all the Korean shit. I think
Wow.
it's Korean, Japanese, maybe Extra Girl might know. I don't fucking know, but some Asian shit right there.
Wow.
And all the comments, like Jin Woo must be somebody. Like he must have some sort of presence because everyone was talking about Jin Woo in the comments.
Fucking graphs and shit. What the Asianest thing ever.
Oh,
Jin
wow.
Woo.
Should have been a picture of some ramen or something. Ramen's
The boy
good.
band.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Some K-pop.
DC.
Some
They all
K-pop
get
dude.
hacked. This is not like if we get hacked, right?
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
might take forever. This is DC. This is Warner Brothers. I'm shocked it's not back already.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who did Gangnam Style?
Psy?
Psy. Yes,
Yeah.
Psy.
Maybe it was him.
Yeah.
He's the only.
AKA DC Gangnam Style.
I hated that fucking replay.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
But what you pointed out, if the guy hacked it, was he able to see like privated videos? And-
Yeah, like who
Yeah.
knows? Like
Yeah.
I highly doubt there would be anything like big time trailers because there's not really much in the works for them now that they would have a trailer for, unless it was a new Superman spot. But I can't imagine that's really ready to go. But I'm sure there was a bunch of preloaded random highlights from old things that are already privated, ready to go public. I guarantee there was at least some on there.
There's going to be one of the problems really is if this guy Jin actually changed the confirmation cell phone number to his own, it's going to be almost impossible for YouTube to reverse that
No, they can. So I got hacked back in 2018. They actually went in and changed my AdSense routing and everything.
Okay.
Whoa.
And of course it took about
don't click on gay porn sites.
Couldn't resist.
No, it was a phishing scam. It looked like YouTube, it was sending me an email. I wanted me to verify whatever. And so when that happened, I realized as soon as it happened, because ownership changed over the channel. And of course, this is, like I said, 2018, I think. I was hanging out with Star Wars Theory when it happened. And so it took about 3 months because the first month my ad revenue was supposed to come in, I didn't get paid. And at that point, I was freaking the fuck out.
Right.
And then we had already done an investigation internally, and I didn't know about the AdSense changeover. So it took a long time for us to figure out that they went in and rerouted the AdSense to their bank. YouTube, it took, like I said, about 3 or 4 months for me to finally get a human being to answer me.
Wow.
And they finally did. When I explained the situation, they said they were going to pass it up to the higher ups. I'm telling you, it took days, like every single day, multiple times a day. I had to email YouTube, tag them on Twitter. It was fucking ridiculous. But I finally got a human being to talk to me. Not only did YouTube correct the problem, they got all of my money back for me. I don't know how. They got all of my money back for me.
Wow.
So they got all the money that was stolen from me, and they corrected the problem. So they will be.
Nice.
They have the resources to do it.
They're a pretty big company now.
I've heard.
There's a YouTube alone. There's a tweet out there. YouTube alone is bigger than Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and another one combined. There's another studio in there.
Yeah, estimated at 400 billion on their own.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just
That's
on
crazy.
their
And
own.
YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world after Google.
Oh, yeah.
After Google,
People don't realize that.
That's why I never believe those statements that people saying that, YouTube was never profitable. And it's like, no, if it was truly not profitable, why are they investing so much money? Why are they building it out? And why
supposedly Netflix wasn't profitable until like just 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, but it's also
culturally relevant.
Exponentially more powerful for Google because they find out everything you search for and every video you watch and how long. So when you go on actual Google, they can target the ads better.
It's an ad machine. That's what
I was going to get to.
They find a benefit.
I always guarantee they are making
data
crazy
too is the
amounts
other
of money.
thing.
Yeah, but they're making crazy amounts of money off YouTube, and there's creative kind of accounting that they could potentially do. Like if YouTube is using Google servers, Google could technically charge YouTube anything that they want, and then YouTube is like, oh, we're not profitable, and so they can move money around.
There is no way YouTube's like, it's insane for them to even say that. I mean, if that was the case, then I've always said I don't have a problem with the cut that YouTube takes. They take less than places like Twitch and everything like that. But the infrastructure that YouTube has created is second to none. But if that was the case, they would take a bigger percentage.
They would take a bigger cut. Yeah, the cut that we get for ads, they must be making shitloads of money. And listen,
between ads and probably selling your data, they're raking in the money.
Yeah.
And then they're. I mean, I don't know if this is happening to you guys, but if your live stream when it gets to VOD, they fucking flood it with ads.
Flood ads.
So I have to go in and fucking manually remove.
Well, here's what happens. It goes live. They flood you with ads. People in the comments cuss you out, and then you have to go in there and change it. The fuck are you doing?
It's not us putting them in there.
No,
there's an auto thing. Anytime there's dead air, it puts in an ad little tick. So
so keep talking.
We
just gotta keep talking over here.
We'll put it in there.
and that is going to change after. I think it's the 1st of May. There's now all alerts all in the back end where they're changing the algorithm of that automatic thing. So they're going to take even less. You'll have even less control, and it'll all be automated. Look forward to more ads.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
As a professional union actor, I think it's disgusting to work for free just to give someone else money. Wait a second, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Maybe get rid of that union.
Damn it.
Yeah. It's just another boss. That's just another boss.
That union's not doing me any good.
Nope. Nope. Oh, all right. Well, hey, DC, good luck. It's been a great rollout so far for the DCU. It's just been fucking stellar. Creature Commandos. The only takeaway I have from that is James Gunn animated himself into the fucking beginning of the show. He put himself on a fucking Superman variant cover. being real humble about all this.
Totally. And you know what's that? I want to be excited for
I do too.
Superman. I want to be, and he makes me not want to be because he's such a douchebag and he's so focused on himself. I did like the trailer overall. I didn't love the trailer. I liked it though. I liked the trailer a lot, but James Gunn is such a douchebag that it's really hard to be excited for what they're doing moving forward. Doesn't take away from the fact that I like all of his other stuff for the most part, but yeah, he's making this more about him than Superman at this point. Is what it feels like.
It really does. It's gone to his head, and maybe it's a banger when it comes out. Hope so.
I hope so. I really do.
You really need superhero movies, like really need it. Superheroes, like the fatigue thing is I think setting in, and
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
No, okay, no. It is because of too many bad movies. So, but the general audience is going to start rolling their eyes at anything, even if it's good. That's when the fatigue hits in. Like I think Andor is probably a decent example of fatigue, right? Not everybody loves it. I understand that, but a lot of people do.
The new trailer looks good.
Yeah, and nobody watched it. Nobody watched it because they were fucking tired of Disney Star Wars.
Well, I think there's Star Wars fatigue for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's possible for superhero movies to also have that same fatigue. If audiences in general get beaten over the head with shit movies for how long is it now? 6 years, almost 10 years, almost it feels like. They're gonna go, well, fuck all these movies.
Yeah, but I want to preface by saying I don't want to use the media's, because I think that's what Jeremy's clapped back on, and I agree. The media's version of superhero fatigue is there's just too many superhero movies, and some of them were actually good. No, they were mostly shit. So that's the reason. If you still come out with a good one, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a good example too. It got hurt that first weekend. But then the word of mouth got out, and it did better. And I think that could still definitely happen if you make a good, solid
Penguin. I mean, Penguin's one. I mean, I know it's not a movie, but like when Penguin came out, everybody loved it because it was good and it was fresh. And if you make decent to good superhero stuff, people will turn.
And what did Warner Brothers do to? And you're right, Jeremy. You're absolutely right. And what did Warner Brothers? But what did Warner Brothers? It's pretty much like the Joker. And what the fuck did Warner Brothers follow it up with? They had a success. They had a DC success, which was really rare in the last few years. And what did they do, Jeremy? Nothing. Nothing.
Well,
nothing.
Just on the note of
they pushed the movie that it's connected to further away.
They are a mess. They are
on the note of Penguin. That required word of mouth. I had no interest in it until I heard people saying it was good. And so I don't know how big the opening was. But in regards to Gary's analogy he was making about Star Wars and Andor, I think perhaps a better example of perhaps the Star Wars fatigue is Skeleton Crew. Because I actually think Skeleton Crew is better than Andor. And no one has bothered watching that.
The reason I'll subscribe to Star Wars fatigue is because there's only one company in charge of Star Wars.
Right.
The reason I don't subscribe to superhero fatigue is because there's a lot of different people involved with that. So there's different visions and different creatives and all of that. But Disney and Lucasfilm, specifically Lucasfilm, they preside over all things Star Wars. And there is a Star Wars fatigue because it's owned by Disney and ran by Disney's Lucasfilm, and it's dog shit. And people have lost all faith in that, period.
Well, I will say, though, there's a decent amount of, especially the general audience, that really doesn't know the difference, particularly between Marvel and DC.
Absolutely.
And that's what's going to drive your market.
Coming in and asking for a Nintendo when their kid wants a PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
Like, a certain section of the general audience, they just view things as superhero movies in general. And I think that even if everything was peak, incredible, amazing that they were coming out with, there does become a point in time when you're putting out 3 or 4 movies a year and 3 series on Disney Plus where it becomes not special anymore. And like there is just, I think there is a small element of it to that as well. We now have like 35 MCU movies and 12 or 13 Disney Plus series over a little over a decade of time. That's a fucking lot.
I will,
especially when you add in all of the shit that DC has shoveled in right alongside
and Sony.
I agree.
Sony,
but here's where I'm, and this is where I'm confused on it. Not confused, but like Deadpool and Wolverine. We know why that was a huge success. It had these viral moments, big stars, big names from, comics, all of that. But I really thought The Flash was going to do better than it did because of Batman. Because
it was horrible.
Michael Keaton coming back.
Yeah, because you had Michael Keaton returning. You had all that nostalgia playing off of, what we saw from No Way Home. I'm not saying I thought it was going to be like $1 billion movie, but I thought this movie would do at least.
But the lead actor, Ezra, was a broken. Ezra was a broken actor.
Just because of the normie aspect that, like Ryan was talking about, a lot of these people will just go because, it's got Batman in it, and now I remember Michael Keaton's Batman. And while there might not be as much nostalgia for Keaton's Batman as there was Tobey's Spider-Man, there was still a lot of nostalgia, and it sold nothing. So that is the confusing part of it, but. When we get Doomsday,
like the Flash.
Huh?
It did look like the Flash, and I think that Ezra Miller was poison.
I agree. I mean, I hated the movie. It was an absolutely terrible movie.
God awful.
But I just figured because of the normie aspect, it would do better. But wait until Doomsday comes out, and it's going to do $1.5 billion.
Well, if we're talking about the battle,
that's where we're at, though, right? That's where we're at. You need to have these returns. You desperately need a huge momentous thing, right? Like there is no Captain Marvel $1 billion film out there this day and age, right? They have lost all that goodwill, and I think people are a little bit tired of it as well. And I think that's the big difference. Now, you used to be able to have a Black Panther movie that makes $1 billion, a Captain Marvel movie that makes $1 billion, even if they're not very good. That's just not happening anymore.
But you can win a baseball
No
game.
Way Home, huge culmination in payoffs from like 3 generations of Spider-Man characters.
From cameos. Yeah. So the health of the super. This is why I think it was important. And again, Gunn's already made the mistake. As far as I know, I could be wrong. You should have just made a Superman movie with Lex. That's all you do is you do a Superman movie with Lex Luthor. You start out very simple and.
The health of the flag in there.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Truth, justice, in the American way. If you really wanted to go Top Gun Maverick or maybe make cheaper, maybe make a Blade movie where he kills vampires for $50 million. Let's see how well those do. And then you'll know the health of your superhero movie. If you just have to keep on piling in fucking cameo after cameo and fucking Lou Ferrigno's going to come back as Hulk in fucking Secret Wars. Like, what are we doing? It's not story driven. And like, that was the same thing the comic industry did. They would drive stuff into the ground all the time, but they would make stuff bigger and bigger. And it's like, just get back to telling good stories. Make it a story driven comic. The big thing that's happening in comics right now, Paul, is Hush 2. Oh boy. Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are coming back to Hush 2 20 years fucking later. It's like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Give me a good story. Have them do something else.
Well, you can win baseball games by hitting singles.
Yes.
And I think, and I know Jeremy's going to disagree, but I think Daredevil so far has been a good single, good double, maybe even.
Yeah.
And just from a trailer perspective, this is just me. I am more excited about, God damn it.
Thunderbolts.
Thunder,
you're so excited about it, you forgot the name.
That's because I'm 70. So
you are
I am
not
more
70.
excited about.
You don't look it.
I am more excited, just based on the trailers, the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four over Superman, just from the trailers. Okay, I'm going to go see Thunderbolts now based on the trailers. I'm finding it really fun. I'm entertained by it. I'm sure there's going to be problems. And
I think
the Fantastic Four has style. You can complain about many aspects of it, but it looks unique and original. And I can't believe that Marvel also pulled off Daredevil.
Well,
so these are all good things for me.
They are. Just real quick on the Fantastic Four. I read this on the Nooner, but I heard from the guy Chris and I know at Marvel. So saw Fantastic Four today. Highest compliment I can give it is it stops being a superhero movie and becomes a science fiction movie. It was very good. And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Wow.
Interesting.
I'm the fucking female Silver Surfer is a deal breaker for me. Sorry, just as a comic purist, hell no. But then he follows it up with and this could be good. I like Sue Storm, but remember the initial rumor is like she's going to be front and center.
Right, yeah.
Something everyone learns is in the film, don't fuck with Sue Storm. And I'm like, that could be good or bad.
Yeah, yeah, because Sue Storm is powerful.
Yeah,
right,
is.
and her
Very
shield
powerful.
offers protection.
Yes.
In regards to yes.
So I guess we could talk about Daredevil now.
Yeah, no sperm's gonna get through that.
Welcome to the Echo Chamber segment of Friday Night Tights, ladies and gentlemen. We are all going to have the exact same opinion about this TV show.
totally.
Let's
I don't
go.
know. I liked it. I thought
liked it too.
The blind guy's kind of hot. I liked watching their the dates.
Really, this is
that
what
he
you
went
come
on.
for the break. This is the good breakdowns right here. So.
Half of the show is for you. Half of the
For a-
show is for
For a
you.
blind guy, he had a lot of game. You know,
Hey, Christy, would you date a blind guy?
if I were single, yes, just for the
Read me
just
like
to say I
Braille.
did it. Yeah, I would be like, yeah. But
So you wouldn't have to put your makeup on and like whatever. You wouldn't have to get ready
right,
for them.
right.
You'd have to smell really good, though. So, you
You
know,
have to smell good. You have to shower. You have to be obviously thin
That's
and
right.
in good shape.
That's not my mouth.
shaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the nice thing. Like he would already know if you were on your period, right? Like,
But
Oh.
that's true. Matt knows walking around. He
You
knows.
could hear, you could hear a drop of blood.
That is a superpower.
He was hot though. I was like, okay.
All right. Great breakdown of Daredevil, Chrissy. Thank you.
Was the hottest moment when he pushed someone off a roof. You're like,
That was
That
awesome.
was
I
cool.
loved it. I
That was
fucking
cool.
loved it. Loved
I
it.
watched the first 2 episodes, just like probably everybody else here.
I only watched the first one.
It is impossible to watch this show and not compare it to Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In
Agreed.
general, because
Absolutely
it's the same
agree.
actors, it's the same character, all this stuff, but also because they told us this is a continuation
Same
of the
fight
Netflix story.
choreographer. Same
And
fight choreographer, too.
I
Really?
find it I find it lacking in compared to that one.
Massive.
I would agree with that.
I don't-
Massive.
I don't hate what I've seen so far. There's a lot of things I don't like necessarily, but we'll see where it goes when it comes to Kingpin and Vanessa, when it comes to Daredevil. But I guess my biggest criticism is the dialogue doesn't seem as good. The fights don't seem as good.
Well, barely any fights in it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's
The editing.
what this is well, spoiler alert, obviously, as if anyone who was watching it couldn't tell. Daredevil's not Daredevil at the start, right? Well, at the start he is, but in the beginning of this show, he's not Daredevil. He's given that up after something that happens very early on, which let's talk about the first 20 minutes, I guess.
Yep.
the best bit.
The first 20 minutes.
Best bit. I liked it.
I think the first 20 minutes should have been a whole episode. I think we need a lot more context.
Yes.
7 years since we've seen these characters together, and just them with a little banter back and forth did not feel like enough for these characters to get me back into them and to be super invested before all hell breaks loose.
Right.
It just felt random.
How to hold
Well,
I agree.
And it was shoehorned in, like no doubt about it. So after they had to cut production, so due to the strike, they stopped production of what they had already shot and realized it was shit, to the point where Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio went to fucking Kevin Feige, which they've said publicly, and said this ain't working. This is not working.
Get the guy from Netflix who did the
Punisher. And the first season of The Punisher is okay. It's
slow.
It's decent.
I think it's really good.
It's really good, but slow.
Second season,
Slow
I
as hell.
stopped watching.
Second season is garbage. I think
stopped watching it.
garbage.
I think most of the Netflix stuff sucked. It did.
But I
Like
think
there was some good
season is
stuff in
going
there.
to tie in. The second season is going to tie into what we see in this show.
Absolutely. So that I mean, this is a season 4 for sure. And but like real quick, I didn't want to interrupt you too much, but they had to shoehorn this in. They had to get Deborah Ann Wall back. Foggy's name, I forgot his name. They had to get him back.
Knucklepuck.
And what was that?
Knucklepuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Oh yeah. Oh
man.
god, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Oh my god, it's been a minute since I've seen that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So they had to bring them back, and that's pretty much they had to retool that in and work with what they had left, and that's what these first 5 episodes are going to be. And like around episode 6, it becomes this new guy's show, and but I thought they felt like they needed to do it. They were worried about it. I don't want to spoil it just yet. We'll say it later in the episode, but what happens to Foggy is going to be very, very hard to explain, but they'll find a way because it's coming. They've announced that they're coming back in season 2. But
it also
the showrunner said it.
What if it's
with
flashbacks?
Foggy as a character, because barely spoke 2 words for him in that entire section. And you can say, he built it all up on previous seasons. This is a separate season with its own name years afterwards. It's barely related to that.
But that's what they're relying on.
You can't. It's as related to She-Hulk as it is the Netflix series.
It's related to Echo.
Echo.
Directly.
And so I think it has to be treated on its own, and that means essentially what happened. I'm like, I don't care. There's nothing about this that tied me to the character at all.
As soon as Fisk shows up, he's referencing Echo directly.
Yeah.
For a long time, and
that was terrible. I hated that.
It honestly feels like the writing isn't all that better. However, it's the actors in the show that have
that's a fact. Like the writing, they don't have Stephen S. tonight. Like he is missing, and he was the guy who wrote the first 2 series.
You can feel it.
Yeah, and he's a fucking Joss Whedon alum. He wrote for Angel. He's fucking great. He's really good, and they miss him. For sure. And it's carried, it's a lot like Deadpool and Wolverine for me. It's carried on the performances of Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio.
I did enjoy the pace of it. I felt it was confident. I didn't feel totally rushed. I mean, there was some introduction of characters very quickly, but as a writer, I thought their shorthand was very good, and I got enough of those characters, and I knew that they were unique. And one of the things in writing is that no 2 characters or no bunch of characters should be able to say the line the same way.
Yeah,
which is like, it's a very quick way of recognizing really bad writing in a show where, wow, that line could be said by any of these 5 characters.
Right.
And there was none of that in this. So there was some I understand what you're talking about, but there was proper professional technique involved, good shorthand, like that girl from BB who could very well be like the reporter from House of Cards. Like I could see her going that way, coming into Fisk's.
Oh, she's gonna start fucking Fisk.
What?
That would be weird.
Yeah, Fisk's on the rebound.
Well, I mean, she is black, so it's probably going to happen. But on the so there was like lots of. I really appreciated. What, did I miss something?
So casually said.
The way you casually said
It's the way you casually said it. It took a minute for everybody to kind of go, oh, damn.
I'm trying to out Kennel. So
well done.
and
holy crap, man.
I know we got a courtroom scene in the Netflix series, but I appreciated the fact that there was that's a really good courtroom scene, and the stakes are good. And it's one of the things that I have a huge problem with almost all the DC and Marvel heroes is that we don't see their alter egos doing sweet fuck all. So, and in this show, he's a good lawyer. He's a good vigilante. I want to see both those things.
He's got a girlfriend in a heteronormative relationship.
They keep telling about
that was done very well.
Okay, if
they're kind of dating and then they're not.
In the face.
Heather Glenn is in the comics.
Okay,
we'll just say that.
She's good looking.
She doesn't mean a very good end.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Like sooner the better.
I will agree with you. It's not the same tripe that we've been getting from Marvel Studios and Disney Plus. It's not at that level, but
there's still
I don't love it.
Well,
I just got finished watching the first season of Daredevil. Phenomenal season. It's so good. Oh, the dialogue is just
excellent.
Oh, so
that
good.
bar, we're dealing with 2
difficult.
bars here. Okay, the bar of Daredevil Netflix, which is the highest bar, which is the best thing Disney Marvel has ever fucking done. They're never gonna. Disney Marvel is not capable of reaching that again. Then there's the bar.
The best comic book thing that's ever been done.
Yeah,
by Disney. Well, I'm talking
adaptation
specifically by Disney Marvel, live action Disney, live action animated by Disney Marvel, not Marvel. Disney Marvel.
I thought you were talking about the Netflix series. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's I like it more than I think like it's tied with me for Iron Man, and I like it more than anything else that the MCU has ever done. By the way, Kevin Feige had nothing to do with those first 2 seasons. Zero. He was not part of that. That was Ike Perlmutter and Jeff Loeb, Andrew Goddard, who developed the series, and Stephen S. Knight and all that stuff. Then we have the bar of Disney Plus, which is like
really fucking
way the fuck down there.
It's in the basement.
Way the fuck down there.
Basement.
If some of these scenes were in any other show, you'd be ripping them apart. Like the entire thing where he's talking to a guy and he's like, "Oh, I really like this meal. You got this," and he just lifts it up and he shows him a photo of his family, and he suddenly switches from "I won't do anything, I'll do everything you want," and the guy walks up to goes, "That was well played, sir. You showed him a pissing photograph," and he just collapsed instantly. But it really thought it did something really Machiavellian and intelligent in that scene, and it was such a basic. There was no.
I completely disagree. Yes, it was. It's the Kingpin.
Well, that was his family.
It's the fucking Kingpin. He's like, "I'm going to kill your family. I know where they are and know where they eat," and he had to. Like, you know.
Yeah, like,
my problems are when they put in the
brilliant scene or anything, but it is the mayor talking to the police commissioner, very casually threatening to murder his entire family.
Yeah, showing you that he's still the Kingpin. So like they're setting up this thing like the Kingpin's trying to go against his inner nature, and he's fucking not. We all know that. We all know he's still going to be the Kingpin. And he's still got a drug organization. And we'll get. I've got criticisms of the show.
The dialogue scenes that I find the red flags are when he's talking about the black attorney that's in his law firm that is like she was so good, she's really hard to fight against, she's so powerful, and then BB or DD or whoever the fuck she is saying like she's used to being underestimated, like
unappreciated.
By the way, this is not an excuse.
Underestimated. Fuck those lines.
That's a Kirsten McDuffie, and she's fucking useless. Like she's a character I don't like. She wasn't created by Mark Waid, I don't think, but she was definitely in the Mark Waid run, which it looks like they used a lot of that they got rid of, but it's fucking terrible, by the way. But yeah, she's not good. I don't think the replacement characters are very good.
I have some issues with how they are supposedly connecting this with the previous, Netflix series, because there's just some flat out contradictions that do not make sense. Maybe if we get into spoilers, I'll point out exactly, because you need to have watched Daredevil season 3.
We can get into spoilers. I think we can get into spoilers.
Spoil.
We're
so
late
there's
enough
the
in
warning.
show. Let's go.
There are at least 3 things that I do not feel is justified at all, and I think they are completely disconnected. For instance, how the hell is Kingpin free? I mean, like the conclusion of Daredevil season 3, like several FBI agents are testifying against him that he like flat out murdered people, manipulated the FBI. This guy, like supposedly he went to prison, and so he's a convicted murderer. Like, how the hell is he just free and then can, become the mayor?
He got pardoned by President Dermot Mulroney. That would be my guess. I have no idea, because in Echo, God, I only watched Echo once. So at the end of Echo, after he rounded up the posse to try to murder a bunch of Indians, and then he was defeated by Native American Voltron, who reconnected him with his past childhood trauma, which they set up so great in the first series and then just took away so he could have a good cry.
In this show.
I think he's like flying on a plane or something, and he's like, I should be like, there's some, I should be mayor. So I don't know how he got out of jail.
That's from Hawkeye, remember?
He was in Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye too. Yeah,
Hawkeye is when we first saw him. It was implied that he escaped police custody somehow, some way. But you're right. At the end of season 3,
it's totally disconnected. Yeah,
you essentially have Matt coming to the decision that, look, I've tried to put this guy in prison. I've tried to do the right thing. I've tried to take him down the right way, and no, like, it's not working. I have to fucking kill him. Is basically kind of where Matt's coming from, and It's been a while since I watched season 3, but I think at the very end, he essentially gets Kingpin to submit to go to prison. And if he tries to get out and escape, he'll then implicate Vanessa. And because Kingpin would pretty much do anything for Vanessa, Kingpin submits to that. Am I getting season 3
No,
right?
I think the exchange was that he was going to go to prison anyway, but he wouldn't go after Vanessa if Kingpin didn't go after Foggy or Paige.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Or reveal who he was. Because I just finished season 3 before watching the thing, and so a lot of this is fresh. And the crap Kingpin does in season 3 is full-blown like villain evil, like just
diabolical evil
people. And that was great. He was such a friggin' good villain in season 3. It's like this guy is a like genius mastermind evil villain, one step ahead. They pulled that off brilliantly, right? And then he got caught out, by the last will and testimony of the FBI agent that was again murdered by him. And so that was going to court. And then the other FBI agent that he had in his pocket flipped on him and testified against him. And so he was done. All those crimes supposedly had come out. And that's what he went to jail for. And how the hell do you get free from that and then become mayor?
Okay.
You heard the line? People said, there's rumors he crushed somebody's head.
Yeah, well, they did a bunch of
off all those other
that
things.
was straight up from the Boondock Saints, by the way. Those little inserts, and I kind of like them.
It did feel like that. Yeah.
Like ultimately, not the best excuse in the world, but
the
if
rule
you've
of
read
thumb.
some comic books, people like, how the fuck does Joker get out all the time? You know, like it's just. But how do you become mayor? They need to. They kind of they're pretending a lot of shit didn't happen. Apparently, you know.
Exactly.
But like bring it up, which I would have been fine with if they didn't bring up fucking Echo. So like, oh, you can't pretend that didn't happen. Come on.
They should have pretended Echo never happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing that I felt was disconnected, and I'm not, this is not me going off the comic books, I'm just going off of the Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
There was no indication that Vanessa had any talent for criminality or being a mastermind, and yet when she's handling,
she ran an art gallery. Come on.
Exactly. She is a better
You gotta lie
crime
a lot.
lord. She is a better crime lord that made the criminal organization bulletproof from any, accusations, better than Kingpin when she's running it. And I'm like, that was not set up.
She was number 2 from fucking Austin Powers.
Yeah,
when Dr. Evil comes back.
There are some comments which I do wonder whether they'll play off later. Like when she's going, oh, actually, no profit makes them loyal. It's like, oh, loyal. And it's kind of like, I know that that's not true and I can turn them against you kind of thing. It's just without seeing the rest of the show, it's hard to know whether that's just me reading into something or whether they are setting up actually complicated things.
I mean, there's been complications in their past in the comic books for sure, but she's always loved Wilson Fisk. And that's what I liked about the show originally is the ride or die. So like, hopefully this gets resolved because if it's a thing, then I will have a problem with it.
Here's the next thing, Gary, because the show set up that their like relationship is obsessive. Nothing, and if anything gets in the way of their relationship, they would murder, torture, and just raise hell against anyone that dare threaten their relationship. That's the impression. That was great. It worked great. And then now in this show, she's cucking Kingpin.
She fucking sleeps with another dude.
I like you, Chad. I feel like she's been.
Our relationship was robust and satisfying.
Well, have they been separated for 7 years? However long?
Couple of years. They
right.
Said.
So I don't know.
I don't know about 7 years. I don't think it's been 7 years.
With how the show set up that relationship, I can't see it. It's like, no, that's not going to happen.
He's been gone for a couple years.
My anticipation,
right?
And she didn't know where the hell he was.
My anticipation of the show going forward is that, like, we're slowly going to see Matt, like, reluctantly, like, fall back in and embrace Daredevil again. Of course. Obviously,
we want to see that.
We're going to see Fisk embrace Kingpin. I think that's going to be like they're going to be both going along and doing those things.
Yeah, there's going to be consequences for him putting the costume back on.
He's gonna get,
I'll reserve judgment on the show as a whole, obviously, till all of it's out. But there are things that I have problems with and don't like so far. We'll see if it gets turned around over the course of the releases. I do not think that Foggy's dead.
He's
what? He was laying there with his eyes open.
So
yeah, that's really hard to do.
Foggy's faked his death in the comics before, and it's going to be difficult because it was supposedly Bullseye who put the shot in him. We saw him line it up, but we don't know if it was him. But Bullseye definitely came in and fucked up and killed a bunch of people in the bar.
Can you guys tell me what did someone hire? I missed it. Did someone hire Bullseye? He was.
We don't know.
I think it was a revenge thing, possibly.
We don't know. And that's something that gets answered later in the show. That I'm told. So we don't know, but Foggy is definitely faked his death in the comics before.
They should have just not shown us the goddamn swinging around the rooftops. Like, that CGI looked so distractingly bad as the first thing to show in the open of the series.
It's in the comics.
When he swings up and hits the wall and falls down and it's his like hero pose, that CGI was
really bad.
It was dodgy. It was dodgy, and I wanted it to be good.
Yeah, because it's like you want him to
wires Spider-Man CGI over the rooftops.
I wanted to see a bulge.
Am I the only person that just found it just to be incredibly boring from a pacing
I
standpoint?
found it actually quite boring.
And it moved so slow. The editing was sloppy. It felt they weren't keeping you. It was not. I was not plugged into it at all. Now, I found Kingpin to be completely cucked and pathetic. But I didn't see the Trump allegories as much as a lot of people have been bringing up. I guess it's there.
That would be more.
Definitely there. It's low. It's low.
They're being really fucking like if we're gonna compare it to Mickey 17, it's fucking nothing, right?
Right.
But
I didn't really see that.
Is that remnants of that old version of the TV show? Is that the remnants of the other 18 episodes that they got halfway through?
Maybe. I mean, like,
now,
if I thought the pacing was fine. I didn't have a problem with it.
I feel like I was watching the Batman all over again.
I liked watching. I liked the Kingpin kind of establishing himself as mayor, fixing fucking potholes. He's a better mayor than New York has already. I mean, that was a huge pothole. Did fucking the Hulk create that pothole? It looked like a superhero damage of some kind.
That scene reminded me of the Karen Bass thing with Trump, where Trump said, "Just let the people in."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It was exact. I went, wait a second, how'd they do that? How'd they get that in so quickly?
Yeah. No, but he's like, well, so to set up the scene, Jeremy, he's like blocked in traffic and he sees a big pothole and the workers are standing around going, well, we're waiting for some permits or something.
Yeah.
And he's all, no, cut through the red tape, fix it now. And everybody's like, yeah.
That's Aaron Berg.
Consider mission given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Aaron Berg, the comedian.
Was it?
Really?
Yeah.
I know Aaron.
Yes, you do.
He was at your show. He's been on Normal World before. Yeah, he was a construction foreman.
That's
How did I
right.
miss that? Wow.
Oh, well done. Well picked up,
good job,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Speaking of comedians, Harlan Williams is the brother of Steve Williams, who did the dinosaur in Jurassic Park. How's that?
There you go.
I didn't know that actually.
You've got better. You've already got better storytelling than Daredevil episode 1.
Nah, I disagree. I like the White Tiger stuff. I thought that was cool.
I don't mind that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that there's like an undercurrent.
That New York police would investigate someone getting pushed under a subway train, though. That never happens.
But it was their own.
Not in our world. No.
If that was like a citizen, they wouldn't have investigated, but it's a cop. So.
Well, this is true. It's the Met Police would never investigate a murder anymore.
There wouldn't be any cops down there.
Right? It's now all thought crimes, right? In the UK.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's hard to keep up.
Every week we have a new kind of hate crime that comes through. Most recently is two-tier legal system.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
That's official now. Depends whether
if you're a minority.
We're saying that out loud now.
Whoa.
If you're a minority, you'll get lesser sentencing in
or a woman.
Wow.
They just say.
Well, what if you identify as a woman before sentencing? Are you good?
Same thing.
That counts. That's one of the groups.
Wow.
That's what a woman is these days.
This is your country.
You feel like a woman.
Yes.
Yeah. It's coming.
You're fucked.
It actually says
you are so fucked.
These people get sentencing guidelines if you get one if you're under one of these categories, and
it's enshrined in the law.
Cultural minorities.
Well, Trump's inviting South Africans to come in now because especially farmers and families. He's all, we'll give you a path to citizenship. We might need to start doing that with the UK pretty soon.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, seek asylum.
So back on Daredevil, I found it mostly boring as well, unfortunately. Like a lot of the political drama stuff, it was done so much better in the Netflix show where it had real stakes and you were invested in it and it was tied into the larger plot where a lot of the White Tiger stuff seems very disconnected and I don't really care too much.
Well, like, I mean, I understand like it's hard to judge it against the Netflix series, but
how do you get that? Hang on. How do you get disconnected that Kingpin is running on an anti-vigilante platform, right? Again.
He convinced an FBI agent to be
that's what he's running. That's what he's running on. And they already mentioned there's a bunch of copycat Daredevils, which of course, fucking Batman, Dark Knight, they did that too. But they've done that in comics as well. And he's considered one of the copycats. So it's
no.
It's
The
definitely
public don't even know that the white tiger that he is
Well,
white tiger. This is just a
no,
random
but-
kind
but-
of thing, and it's disconnected from the larger.
they're
plot of
setting something up.
That is the plot.
They're
That is the
setting it
plot.
up.
That's my favorite part is the courtroom stuff.
They're
Like that makes
setting
the
it
most
up.
sense with
It's going
Matt
to connect
Murdock.
later. In the, like we've watched 2 episodes, guys.
Yeah,
Come
but from
on.
the episodes that were given, it felt disconnected, and
I totally disagree.
I don't know
And
how
I
you're getting that
found it
shit.
I totally
It seemed like
disagree.
it was fine. I mean, that was
like
honestly one of the better parts of the show was the shit with White Tiger.
Yeah,
It feels, it
yeah.
honestly feels
It's all
like
the
they are
other
setting
stuff.
up-
What were you going to say, Jeremy? Sorry to interrupt.
Well, the
you
thing
there.
is like I think that it's absolutely fair to hold it to the Netflix series because they're expecting
Sure.
you to
Agreed.
care about these characters because of the Netflix series. Without the Netflix series, why should I care if Foggy dies? Why should I care if anything's happening? They need you to care about that because they're not willing to build it within this show so far. So they're hoping that you care about that. So you have to directly compare it to that.
Yes.
And if you're going to dance in that world, then you're going to be held to that standard, and it's dog shit compared to that standard. And you want us to care about previous storylines from this universe that you're trying to get an emotional payoff in this episode, and it doesn't work at all. At least for me, and I only saw the first episode.
I
Well,
think it's
here's
like something
all
they should have
the-
done like
I
after like a season, like because it honestly felt like they were trying to get people from the Netflix show to come and say, "Hey, remember these characters? Remember how
here.
great they were?"
Karen's
and then the first like
here.
5 issues was like,
Augie's
"Well,
here.
okay." They just said, "F you."
And Karen doesn't come back until later, right? So
Yeah,
she takes
she's
off to San
gone.
Francisco. Foggy's dead. She'll come back later, I guess, in the episode. And they're, we got like a quick shot of Muse, who's if they do it right, Muse is a good fucking villain. Like Muse is a decent, like modern villain. We'll see.
Okay.
But they are
Here's
definitely
a-
setting up the anti-vigilante thing. Okay, that's like it's
Yeah,
not. You are
okay.
not supposed to be a vigilante anymore, and the Avengers are gone. Apparently, you get a Spider-Man reference in this, but
Yeah, there was a
Punisher
Spider-Man
plays into this too. So, and that's why you saw the skulls on the cops. And this is my concern. This is my concern.
That's what I don't
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
this is the part
Here
I
is a-
fucking hate.
Here's another criticism that applies a bit more broadly overall. It feels like they're repeating a major theme from season 3, but in a much worse way. Doesn't want to be Daredevil, and he has to come to terms and
They do
realize
that a
this
lot,
is who he
yeah.
is.
That's
Uh,
comic books, yeah.
Yeah, that's comic
like-
books.
It just felt like, okay, we've seen
Really
this story
shallow.
done much better already, and they're just rehashing.
That's ultimately what it is. It feels like it's a kind of a cobbled together a little bit because I think that's what we know from the news.
Doesn't it undermine the main theme of season 3 where he embraces it? Like
This
he
has nothing to
figures
do
out
with the Netflix series, though. That's the.
But they told you it did.
it should
that's
be.
the
It should
problem.
be.
Yeah, but
Vote
they
against it.
just want that nice.
Well, dude, my biggest
Yeah.
my biggest criticism of season 3,
unrelated in every way.
not being in his fucking costume for damn near the whole season, like that was my biggest criticism of
that
season
was
3. I
mean.
fucking hated
Well,
it.
He better get
Look,
back in his fucking
ultimately-
costume
so-
episode 3. If he doesn't,
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna be pissed.
Shit, the
No, he doesn't. Not until like 5 or 6.
Are you kidding me?
Oh.
Dang it, dude.
I totally get
I don't mind the
like,
costume.
that
It's a good costume.
criticism
It's a good
of,
costume.
like redoing the thing from season 3 again. However, because there's really no reasons, right? Because we haven't heard anything from Bulls about why he did this. It seems like Matt feels that he did it for retribution or to get back or whatever. And I feel like Matt feels his role as Daredevil led to the fucking death of his best friend and the person that kept him grounded with a lot of this shit. And
Yes.
that's why he fell away from it. And we'll see how it goes and see how he gets back into all this stuff. But I can understand how an event like that would shake somebody.
Absolutely. And
Also,
that's why
Ryan,
that's
you
why they
said-
put it in there.
It doesn't make any sense though, because the actions that happened there would nothing to do with him. He didn't make any mistake. There was nothing he could have done. He was trying to
Well,
save one
okay,
person, then
and
was in the
that's
wrong place.
and we have to see how that plays out because
Hold on,
you
though,
could
but you keep saying that, Gary. Do you know what happens later in this show?
Yeah, he does.
I do.
See, because that is
not fair. That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Life
Wait,
isn't
don't
fair,
you know these
motherfucker.
Because that you have never given another show leeway. Like you go, well, we have to see how it goes. You've all been like,
Yeah.
I have 2. Bullshit. Bullshit.
You're like, well, this is stupid. This is retarded. Now you're like, guys, we have to.
No.
the fuck, we don't. It's a Disney Plus
Yeah,
show.
fuck Disney.
We all know how this goes. So that's the thing. You keep saying that, but I'm like, you never say that about like when we're.
Yes, I did. House of the Dragon. I absolutely fucking said that.
Power apart. You're never like, guys.
Well, because Rings of Power got dude. Rings of Power got fucking retarded in the first 10 minutes. Okay.
So did this.
All right, Rings of Power season 3. Let's just see how it goes.
Stop.
It could be great.
Just on that note, Gary, them opening with Foggy's death, I hate it. I was like, hang on.
I can totally see how a lot of people hate that.
Kicking the balls for people who love the first Daredevil show. It's like Foggy is essential. Yeah. It's a really important character. It felt like them killing off Newt in the next, Aliens movie where they're just like, F you, John Connor. Who liked, the build-up and relationship is dead now.
You cannot compare the first 2 episodes of this to Rings of Power or fucking Acolyte. Get the fuck out of here.
I think
that's some
we
bullshit.
Should start a hashtag give Rings of Power season 3 a chance.
Let's do it. Hey, I want to. I hope they hurry up and make it.
How it goes.
I think that it does from the perspective of, because again, I don't think Foggy's actually dead. However, Foggy and Karen were such a big marketing point.
Yes.
The idea that they were back, the idea that they tore a bunch of shit apart and brought them back.
And put them heavily in the trailer.
It was a bit of a cheat.
Daredevil fans, you made this possible.
Yeah.
And
they're like, frame 1, bam!
Gotcha. Out of the show. Now,
it was not fair.
I don't know like Gary knows anything. This is just based on my feelings about what I feel like.
But even if listen, I've read a bunch of fucking Daredevil comics. I just know how certain shit goes. You don't have to know what's going on in this fucking show to know that.
They kind of Red Hulked them.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, do I need to know the comics? Do I need to know what happened in fucking Echo? Do I need to know what happened in Daredevil 3? Like, what the fuck do I need to know to understand it?
Everything was shallow as a duck's backside. There was loads of things that could have been interesting. Like, the entire thing between Fisk and him, where it's like, okay, well, I don't like... It was the great line where somebody said, well, you just want to put them on a list. It's like, well, that's like making grocery list of cancers. That was a great line where you're playing with the idea, but all it did for 2 episodes is play about people's feelings. Oh, I'm really upset my friend died. I don't care. Be a hero. Punch someone in the face. Do something. Play with ideas rather than looking inward at how upset you are. It's just a really shallow line.
Okay. When Jeremy dies, I'm just going to punch somebody in the face.
That comment there also throws out a lot of the things that were some of the best parts of the Netflix series, which were people talking about the ramifications of what they do as heroes, how they do those things, and how it affects everything else around them, which was a huge part of Daredevil as a whole.
Yeah, and episode 2 was great.
And Frodo just went, I'm a bit
the end of episode 2, I liked.
I wouldn't have given him 5 hours of going, I'm going home now. No, you were supposed to carry on no matter what happened.
I think legit criticisms are repeated themes, which they fucking did in the Netflix series too, okay? It was always questioning his inner demons and stuff, which is like... It happens in the comics, but it doesn't happen like every fucking comic book, right? It happens years apart at times, and they're trying to distill it here. So there's repeated themes.
Catholicism.
They have to fucking shoehorn in some weird thing with the fucking Kingpin because of the events in Echo and Kingpin when you should have just fucking ignored it. Just fucking ignore it and move on. Like, I don't think he doesn't have a scar in his eye at all. He got shot in the fucking eye.
It's very.
It's there.
Okay. It's there, but you can barely.
I can barely see. So that's. I mean,
they shouldn't have even spent the time to put the prosthetic on his face. That's how they should have ignored it.
Didn't they do some like Marvel special presentation about how he survived that and like the procedure that he went through and everything about how he would look normal again?
Wouldn't surprise me if they did.
They got nanotechnology. They could do anything.
Dude, they got Star Trek. Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
I didn't watch it, so.
Yeah, so
they did manage to retreat on a Disney directive when they bought Marvel, and that was no violence to speak of. That was, I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was one of the things that changed Iron Man 2 was the level of violence that Disney was going to allow, and the fact that Tony Stark was going to be an alcoholic. These were things that Disney said, no, these are things that are never going to happen. And now they're easing up on those.
They are. They
kind of have to at this point.
I think that stuff is a good thing in of itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, like buying Fox for $72 billion, and Fox is known for R movies and shit, you know, and horrors. So they had to. They absolutely had to. And this was an act of desperation. Let's not act like it wasn't. This was thrown together.
Agreed.
It was an act of desperation. This wasn't going to, if the strike doesn't happen, we don't get this series. We get the fucking 18-episode She-Hulk sequel, which Disparu and
would have been amazing.
But
release the first 7 episodes.
Hey, Paul, for that comment though, for Iron Man 2 specifically, Disney didn't have anything to do with it yet, right?
Iron Man 3, you mean, or 2?
Maybe it was Iron
my
Man 3.
understanding is that
it was still Paramount. It was still Paramount
still
even
Paramount,
through Avengers
Okay.
until like Disney bought the distribution rights after that, and like then they started getting involved. But Iron Man 2 is
Because
really
the
early
first technical Disney movies after the Avengers. The Avengers was
I
the
could be
last
wrong.
Paramount one.
I heard that they had started
Disney
putting
was
pressure on even too.
Disney was no rated R. That's a fact. They were like no rated R, no violence for a long time, and that is eroded
No
and
alcoholism.
changed. Like they weren't gonna do any rated R Marvel movies, and then they were going to with Blade until they shit can. By the way, do you guys want to hear what sidelined Blade aside from being fucking retarded, like absolute retarded? I just saw a trailer for the movie Sinners. Sinners is going to be vampire movie set in the 30s, and Michael B. Jordan
and Michael B. Jordan,
and they felt it was going to be too similar to their Blade movie being set in the 30s, and that's what put them.
Drops.
Yeah, literally, and that's why they scrapped it. And they scrapped it, and when they scrapped that, they brought in another writer, and now like Mahershala Ali is completely pissed. And as far as I know, it's a dead movie. Like it ain't happening now. It's just not going to happen, which sucks.
It's for the best, really.
Similar movies. We used to have similar movies come out, and it was fine. It was great. But
even then, everyone would have said it's similar to Blade, not Blade is similar to the other.
I agree,
movie.
but that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I like if it's a good reason.
It makes sense.
It's. I think they're fucking retarded. I think you just bring in Blade, fucking, and Whistler, and have them fucking kill fucking vampires. Like, how hard is that? But apparently, it's hard. We need to throw 4 women in there. And that's hey, what did they do in Shang-Chi? He had to be surrounded by a couple of women all the time. What did they do in
Black? Had to be hoofed in the nuts.
Yes, in the beginning.
What they do to Indiana Jones, same thing there.
What they do in Black Panther, the Black Panther movie, he's surrounded by a bunch of women all the time. You know,
Ant-Man.
So we'll
just go on and on.
We'll see with Daredevil. I'm willing to give it a chance, but it's not fucking perfect at all. And like I am worried. What I was talking about earlier is the Punisher skull thing. Even Jerry Conway, the fucking woke ass co-creator of Punisher, they were so worried that not gang members who use it too, police and military were using the Punisher logo. This is from a few years ago, forcing Marvel to go to some like stupid ass fucking Punisher logo is arguably top 3 most iconic superhero logos in the world. Like, period. Like, why would you do that? But because of political correctness. So hopefully they don't go that route, but we'll see. We'll see.
There we go. Well,
I think
I got to bounce because I got a couple streams tonight. So I just
want to say,
I got 2 more streams tonight.
A couple.
So, yeah, I got 2 more.
What are you doing?
We're covering SmackDown, WWE SmackDown, because of John Cena's heel turn. However, I don't think he's going to show up, but we're going to cover that. And I've got Cobra Cast tonight, so we got that. So anyway, I can't wait for the next season of Doctor Who, guys. Don't criticize it. Just wait for the next season. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. All right. So just.
I've seen the writers. I'm excited.
All right. Sorry, guys. We'll have our echo chamber next week. Sorry, we broke the echo chamber this week.
Broke the echo chamber.
Yeah, we'll get back. We'll get back.
I will never talk to you again because you disagreed with me on one TV show. You're dead to me.
I'll see you guys later. Paul, have a good one.
Jeremy, pleasure.
Later,
fuck
brother.
everybody else.
Bye,
Bye,
Fuck
everybody.
you.
Jeremy.
Are we still talking about Daredevil?
You can if you would like.
I know, Ryan, you said that there weren't a lot of fights, but there was kind of an argument in the beginning where the blonde girl and the blind guy, it's like they were dating and then they were not dating anymore. That was kind of an argument. That I consider that to be a fight.
I don't think I'm the one that said there wasn't a lot of fighting.
I did. I like actual action fighting until the end.
We're almost the same age, though. I can understand how you would mix that up.
I know. I'm a young, vibrant man, though. That's the.
Yep.
Three. Just like Gary.
There was not enough kissing or hooking up in this show for me. I don't know. I'm holding.
There was kissing though. Did you miss that?
4 dates.
Oh, yeah.
There was.
There was a coffee date and a dinner date.
Yeah.
Ryan, what'd you say?
I asked Paul how old he thinks you are.
Oh, this would be interesting.
How old?
How old is Shad?
How old do you think I am?
How old Shad is?
Yeah.
Older than me.
Oh no!
Wow.
That's
What? Are you kidding me?
I love it. I just exude wisdom. I'm like Gandalf. This is brilliant.
I don't know. I'm bad with ages. I love telling people I'm 80, and they go, "Wow, you look great."
That's what I should start doing.
Thanks.
I'm 65.
But Shad's
Really?
actually
No,
Shad's
I'm
actually
55.
27.
Yeah, right.
Shad's 27, going on 50.
27.
It's a rough 27.
It's Australia. That's why it ages you.
Yeah.
Running away
I
from all the
actually,
deadly
like,
creatures.
I legitimately prefer how I look now than when I was a kid. I looked like, I don't know, too much of a baby face. I feel like
It's understandable. I've seen you without a beard.
I know, isn't it horrifying?
Yeah.
It's terrible. Oh my gosh.
You actually
I-
stopped making videos until it grew back. It was,
I will agree. I will agree that it's nice being retired, semi-retired. I'm still running my.
I thought you were going to
business.
say retarded.
Retarded too.
I'm semi-retarded.
It is nice. It is nice to be
Hey,
retarded.
it's
Retarded
nice
and
being
retired. It's a
retarded.
great combo.
Brilliant.
I'm semi-retarded.
Of ours.
It's
The
nice.
pressure's off. Nobody expects anything from you.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
I get in the RV, drive around to South Carolina. Maybe I'll try to get down to Texas with. My
Yeah,
son.
dude. Come on.
I'll do that.
You
So-
come down right now. I've got like plenty of room. Plenty of room.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So, Chrissy, you just liked the romance discussion.
I did.
kind of.
I did. Yeah.
And
I
so,
like-
sorry, Gary. Do you have any race tracks like not horses, like car tracks, race, anything to do with automobiles around where you live?
Yes. We also have racist tracks. So you can come
Ooh.
Yeah, you gotta watch out.
There's
Okay,
one,
just
Paul,
wait.
in Austin.
Yeah.
And there is a smaller one here in San Antonio.
Yeah. Yeah. We could.
'Cause my son is into drag racing and
Oh,
automobile
hell yeah.
racing.
You know,
Good dad. Good dad.
I'm starting to think the fact that Chrissy likes that part of Daredevil makes me hate it more because that just means
Oh,
it's a more woman
no.
feminized show that they're feminizing, you know, a superhero
What do you think
show.
that all the therapy is for? Like the therapy that.
Oh, yeah, so-
Oh
so-
my god, yeah.
The Sopranos
marriage-
scene was like,
That's very soprano, yeah.
true.
and
So-
the fact
so
that
did the
it's
show
Daredevil's
wipe-
girlfriend being the counselor. So
I
Yeah.
like that.
There was politics scenes specifically designed to tell you men are terrible at politics, but this woman, she knows all about it because she's a social creature. Like,
yeah.
the affirmation was all over the place for
Oh,
her.
I've
yeah.
been doing this a long
Except for the
time.
fact that she tells
Vanessa-
him not. Hold on. Except for the fact that she tells him, like, hey, just don't worry about doing anything. First 100 days, really just keep the status quo. Don't do anything. And he immediately goes out, ignores her advice, and has a massive PR win.
Yep.
He's like, build a hole.
Yeah, but that wasn't. It wasn't at the positive.
And she was
advice
also
of the
giving
other
him
people.
advice that he also didn't take.
and listen to Michael
right before He
Gandolf.
won.
Yeah, listen to Michael
in the
Gandolfini's
landslide.
character. He was listening to the Harry Sisson of fucking Kingpin or whatever.
But Vanessa, who is not a businesswoman or has any experience in criminality, is a better criminal than Kingpin.
She's a businesswoman. She
Not a
ran a
better
gallery.
criminal.
She sold.
She made it legit. That's a shitty criminal.
That's a business. You sell shit to,
No,
to
no, no.
high end.
Gary,
high
Gary,
rollers.
selling modern art is more of an
It's
argument
crime.
versus
It's
that's
absolutely crime. It is the most evil crime of all. What are you talking about?
Exactly. That's
You're
what I'm
breaking
saying.
your own argument.
You are.
She perhaps
you're-
has experience as a criminal.
if you could sell somebody's like piece of shit in a jar of urine to some fucking millionaire, you're the most
Mastermind.
evil mastermind there is on the
Okay.
planet.
Okay, you've convinced me. I 100%
Okay.
There we
agree.
go.
Yeah, just because I hate modern art so much. Yes.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Modern art
It
is
is.
terrible. Hey, let's.
That's
do
all
this.
we have now.
We're gonna do. Hey, do we have the archive of the Powerpuff Girl? We're gonna do in the Rumble Hour because I don't want to do it here on YouTube. But that is something else, dude.
Yep, we can watch it on the
Holy
Rumble
shit.
side.
We can watch that on the Rumble
It's
side.
bad, dude.
I see you, Mola. Mola's backing me up in chat.
Oh, Mahler's. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Mahler on Tuesday. It's gonna be great.
Mahler's got opinions on this.
No,
clearly.
Mahler's like, I'm gonna convince you to hate it. I'm like, no, you're not.
It was really good at an open bar where Drinker was like, I think it's good. It's the best thing they've ever done. I think it's going to say something different. Anyway, it's shit.
Dude, no. No. It is the best thing Disney Plus has ever put out. Now, that's not saying it's great. I like the first 2 episodes, 7 out of 10 for both of them for me. It is clearly the best thing they've ever put out in like live action.
I agree.
That's not even fucking debatable. It's not. It's having watched. I watched the first 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel. They sucked, and that was like critically acclaimed. I've watched everything else. I know some people. Hey, Az doesn't like it, but he liked the first episode of Moon Knight. First episode of Moon Knight was shit. So
I would put it like, for me, I would put it very much in the mediocre category so far.
Which is the best thing Disney Plus has ever put out.
Yeah, I would describe it as completely mediocre. Obviously, I'm judging it based off it's what it should be judged off, which is as follow-on to a incredible Netflix series.
Mahler could have come on the show, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you, Ryan.
I think that I have a lot of concerns about where it's going, but also I think if it goes where I think it could go, then I think I could really like it. But
speaking of Moon Knight, I had
yet.
no idea that Oscar Isaac also did Apocalypse and X-Men.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And that was really bad. Like he is good casting for Moon Knight. Moon Knight's my biggest disappointment. Like that he was good casting. It could have been a great show if they stuck with the original Moon Knight, which is essentially Marvel's Batman. And they didn't. They went with the more modern shit with the different personalities.
She-Hulk was my biggest disappointment because it was the one show that was made for TV.
Yeah, well, and it should have been good. Like if you get
Perp of the Week, that's it. Just done it. Like how hard it is. It's like the simplest show to do.
Dude, I had the most fun watching She-Hulk.
Oh,
It may not be the best series. I had the most fun watching it though.
It was funny.
You have you're a strange man, Disparu.
It was car crash television. It's the same thing in like people watch The Office because it's cringeworthy and that makes it funny. That's the way I see it.
I can't see that in She-Hulk. For me,
dude, it is pure comedy. That show is funny as hell for all the wrong reasons.
It was like I enjoyed hating it, but I don't enjoy hating things. So there's that. Wow, that's probably one of the most retarded things I've ever said.
Yeah, because like, come on, we all enjoyed hating The Acolyte because it was really easy. We were picking on a retarded kid. We all know that it was the lowest hanging fruit. And it was still lots of fucking fun. Okay,
I would have preferred never to have watched it though, because it's still so brain.
I have no regrets.
I wouldn't give up Willow if my life
regrets. None
There
whatsoever.
are shows which are awful to watch and awful to report on, but I have to say The Acolyte was one of my favorite awful shows.
Dude, Paul, you're an old nerd. You're like the oldest nerd of them all, okay? We watched a bunch of shit we hated when we were like all the fucking time. We went to every fucking movie on the weekend and we watched a bunch of like, I don't care if it's good or bad. We'll just rip it if it's bad. You know?
Yep. Hey, listen, I saw Steve McQueen in The Blob when I was 10.
The Blob. I love the remake though. I love the remake of The Blob.
Oh, I never saw it.
I didn't even know
When that came out in the 80s? Yeah.
No,
The 80s Blob, yeah,
That's fucking
awesome.
good.
Who was in that?
I don't think anybody. I can't remember now. But the Blob deaths are good. They're like
it might be the
legit.
remake.
And the special effects are fantastic.
Yeah, because there's a 50s Blob, which is long before you were born, Disparu.
Yeah, no,
but not so around when Shad was born, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's probably the remake I've seen.
Yeah, the remake's good. I like it. Here, I put that link in. Garrett, we'll do this one real quick. You got it? All right, so Oscars, nobody gives a fuck about the Oscars. Nobody cares. Pretty clear. But nobody gives a shit. So they came out with some ratings. It was the 3rd lowest Oscars, and then they added magically, Ryan, they do this with Doctor Who all the time. They just, hey, we found 1 million views in the couch. We're gonna fucking throw it on.
Even
though they had already accounted for the live broadcast viewers and somehow the Hulu viewers. Where Hulu was down for much of the show. It went down after Best Director, but it's still magically, now it's like the 5th lowest according to, even the trades are questioning. They're like, no, this is
that's strange because the 18.1 million number was reported by Disney.
So,
yeah.
So it's.
I bet you every time it went down, they counted them as new views.
Maybe.
Oh, tick, 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 tick.
Ah. Hey, oh God, remember that first episode of Rings of Power when they fucking had that commercial play randomly?
Yep. If it refreshes, it's a new view.
It's a new view if it refreshes, yeah. So Ryan, I don't know like where they got that million or whatever. Third lowest Oscars. Nobody was watching it. Nobody gave a shit about the movies.
What was the total?
18.1.
Okay.
So to put it in kind of perspective, in the 80s and 90s, it would almost compete with the fucking Super Bowl. It was the most watched non-sports event in America forever. 60 million. It was getting 60 million. Then in 2004, it was down to, it was 40s and 50s. And even as recently as 2017, 18, 19, it was in the 30s, 30 million. And they're blaming...
Coming off COVID, it was 10 million.
10 million.
They're like weird digital.
Yeah, and the problem is that the Oscars at its best is a contest for your favorite movies, and if they want to rebuild the Oscars, stop giving Oscars to movies that deserve it and just give it to the fucking most popular shit, because that's what the people want to see.
I think there just has to be a better balance. It shouldn't just be the top grossing movies, right? Because it's not always, some of those aren't necessarily worthy of fucking winning these
but
things.
Initially, I think they need to do that, Ryan.
They need to lure people back.
Popular movies the win right now to begin with, because they're not making movies that are both good and popular anymore.
You know what would have been smart? I was advocating for this when it happened. I'm not saying it should have won Best Pick. Well, Maverick should have won Best Picture, period. Maverick should have won Best Picture in its year. It should have won.
I agree with
but you should have nominated Spider-Man No Way Home simply for it making a couple of $1 billion during COVID. All of a sudden, COVID was magically cured when you put 3 Spider-Man in the theaters, and all of a sudden everybody fucking went when it was just an excuse for every Marvel movie, particular failing, including one just a couple of weeks before its release. They're like, the Eternals numbers are down because of COVID.
So they went right back to it.
Yeah,
they went right back to that argument.
Yeah, from a business perspective, it should have been Wicked versus Dune, just from the point of view of getting the audience involved.
Here's the other problem.
I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah.
I think that Dune was underrepresented in general more than it should have been for what I thought how good it was, and compared to a lot of the other things that were out there. But you had Academy members admitting that they didn't watch half the shit they voted for.
Right.
Like not openly because they were anonymous interviews, obviously, but they were admitting, like, of the 4 different executives that had been interviewed with a whole bunch of different positions. Well, one was an exec, one was a writer, one was an actor, whatever. None of them had watched Dune Part 2. Wow. And their job is to vote for Best Picture. Like, that's wild to me.
Well, on top of all this, it feels like just a massive circle jerk where all these celebrities are sniffing their own farts and telling each other how wonderful and important they are. And that disconnects normal people because they feel like these elitist idiots that just do disconnected from reality.
Like
and
land
then the movies that,
well,
all that crap. And then it seems like most of the movies that are getting knowledge suck and only picked for political reasons. Like that transgender film, whatever, where
Well, that was going to sweep. Before those tweets came out, that was going to fucking sweep. Garcon was going to, the dude was going to win Best Actress. That was fucking, and I don't know if somebody in the Academy goes, you know what, this might not be a good idea. Can we find some old tweets?
Dig them up.
I don't know. I just, like, I know that was set up to absolutely win. And when those tweets resurfaced, that was before the voting on the categories. So it definitely affected it for sure.
I haven't seen it, right? But all reports on that movie is that it's insanely crap. And Gary, you've seen it. You're like, it is like
Garrett. How did you like editing it?
It was a fun time because we got to make fun of it, but it was horrible watching it.
Well, this is what I mean.
Twice.
When you see movies that, by all reports, are some of the most dog crap movies ever made, being selected as one of the, or being in the running for one of the best films of the year, it undermines every sense of credibility. Yep. And I do not give a crap of their opinions or the awards. The award means nothing to me now.
Well, the other thing too is
cultural relevance. It's gone.
Yeah, you don't nominate a woman with dangly bits. Like you just
you
that's
think
the
that's
rule.
obvious, but
you'd think you wouldn't have
you know
to
what? They stole a nomination from Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
No one talks about this.
Yeah. The last
But
Showgirl.
The Showgirl was a fairly decent movie, and she acted her ass off in a way that she will never get another role like that in her life, and it wasn't celebrated.
No.
This is a similar problem with what's her name from who wasn't
Substance?
who didn't win.
From
Substance, yeah. Well, and that's how the voters probably looked at it. They're like, well, this is a similar thing to Demi Moore.
Maybe.
And Ryan, to your point, I think most of the voters don't watch all the movies. I think we just got some unintentional honesty there. I think most of the voters do not watch all the movies.
Because they're shit.
Yeah. Well, yes, they don't even want to watch them. But like not wanting to watch Dune, but you'll watch like Anora, it's great for a fucking $6 million movie, good for Sean Baker and all that stuff. I found the movie incredibly average. There's no way Mickey should have won over Demi. Demi Moore acted her ass off in The Substance. She should have fucking won. But it was a tame Oscar.
Is that the stripper film where they saw?
Yeah, it's the one that said congratulations to all the sex workers and stuff. This one goes out to them.
Yeah.
It's like,
Disparu, did you hear that announcement? Like when she goes, this one goes out to all the sex worker community, and some guy goes, "Whoa!" in the audience.
Vigorously been supporting for years. Yes.
It's like
Hollywood celebrating, prostitution. Okay, that seems.
It was poignant for the Substance. That was like the whole plot of the movie.
Well,
it was the theme of the movie.
The irony is that she loses to a younger, hotter girl.
Yeah.
The playing of the Substance of like her when she's fucking old and mocking people and everything, like during Mikey Madison's speech was really funny.
Yeah, that was good shit. That was good shit.
The awards, and to Shad's earlier point about people not wanting to watch these celebrities anymore, back in the 90s or whatever, this is the only time we saw them.
Yep.
You might catch them on the Tonight Show or whatever if they're doing an appearance for a little 10-minute segment, a little dumb story. But other than that, you didn't see these people ever. So there was like a special thing to it. The idea that they're all dressed to the nines out there on the red carpet, looking better than anybody we ever see look, all this stuff. And then going up there for these movies that not all of them, but for the most part we'd heard of or cared about in some way, shape or form. And it's just it's a bunch of different things coming together and combining to make no one give a fuck about these award shows anymore.
Well, the awards themselves, they're not about what's the best movie. It's saying, giving a signal as which direction does Hollywood want to go in. It's rewarding their preferred tick boxes for what makes a good movie, whether it's good or not. And they've doubled down on the fact, despite them not going, Trump and all this kind of stuff, they did say we want to double down on ideology. That was what all the victors were.
Absolutely. And that brings us quickly to the headline. What great.
And this too.
Great, Garrett. That was really good. No, that's not the one I wanted.
This is the other one.
That's not the one I wanted.
But I do have this one. I was just going off of Disparu's.
Okay. Women. Okay. So an article came out from, was it The Wrap? I can't remember. So we got the Mirror.
It's The Wrap.
And we're just going to go over the headline real quick because we got to get soups. But because they toned it down, you are going to now have people, Disparu in Hollywood going, no, we didn't go woke enough. That's why, and maybe they're right. Maybe the dude should have won Best Actress. More people probably would have watched out of just fucking morbid curiosity.
That would have tanked next year's Oscars.
Absolutely.
Even worse.
Yep. So memo to Hollywood.
They can go bigger next year. They could go even more woke next year.
So
I hope they do.
The gist of this article, and I'll do a video on it later, is basically you can't run from the culture war. You need to keep fighting it. There's no running from it. It's like you fucking lost, Hollywood.
Yeah.
You got your ass kicked. There was no more proof than the Oscars, where they eked out 3 things. They wouldn't mention Trump by name at all. There wasn't any fucking, like, right after the Zelensky thing, I was like, man, they're going to be all over this Ukraine thing. We got 2 comments, and there was no fucking Ukraine pins or blockbuster pins anywhere. And they clearly got a memo, like, shut the fuck up. Like, so you lost.
At least for the presentation itself, right? You can't really control too much about whatever actor gets up there and what they say for their award speech, other than desperately play the music to try to get them off. But when it does come to like Conan as a host, it was pretty apolitical in general. He had the one line, which was like, at least that was in reference to Anora, actually, like something that was relevant for winning. Oh, good to see. I guess people like seeing someone stand up to a powerful Russian. That was the one tongue-in-cheek comment that was in there. Other than that, it was pretty normal.
Yeah, it was, and it was pretty fucking boring. And I can't imagine.
And dull.
It's super dull. Like that. They used to, like, when Billy Crystal was there, it was funny. They would do, like, funny gags, and there was also some movies we gave a shit about, But the
other thing too is it's a different generation they are utterly inarticulate. So you guys are too young to remember, but if Robert Evans got on the stage and said something, it was fabulous because he was a raconteur. Peter Ustinov, when he presented something, he was a brilliant raconteur. And like words just dripped out of their mouths like honey. These are just imbeciles who are walking up on stage and they say nothing. They're not interesting. They're not funny. They're not witty. You need them to add to the entertainment of the show. Sorry for me getting all.
That's actually true. A lot of stuff. True. You can go back over here and watch just random television shows from the 70s, and everyone is smarter that's on the TV than they are now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The speeches, like every time the Oscars come up on Twitter, there'll be older speeches, and they're fucking great. And you're like, where the hell's that? Oh yeah,
Dean Martin says something, and you're howling with laughter.
Yeah. I think the only way the Oscars can turn around is Ricky Gervais hosts everyone.
I was gonna say Ricky
with Dave Chappelle and Dave Chappelle, Tony Hinchcliffe. You know what? Just do fucking Kill Tony with Ricky Gervais and Dave Chappelle, and just fucking roast everybody nominated and who wins. That's all you do.
Every time they're sitting at the table, they bring the actor up to accept.
Honestly, that's kind of like the only interest I have in celebrities now, because I hate most of them. They're disgusting, despicable people that hate me and my values and stuff. And so seeing them get roasted, that's brilliant. And
they really hate you, Mormon. They really hate you.
Hey, I would be happy if Critical Drinker went on to host it. He had a hilarious line in his Oscar thing where when Gal Gadot and Ziegler walked up, he said it looked like it was a Lamborghini versus a Ford Escort.
You know what? Yeah, it totally. It looked like the Twins poster. That's the first thing I thought of was the Twins poster.
Yeah, I'm nominating Critical Drinker to host the Oscars.
I second that nomination. Let's fucking go. Will, you can do it. Noon says gifted 50 Nerdrotic memberships for $250 effing dollars. And you will be rewarded with a Daredevil watch party. We're doing it every week. Maybe even a Reacher one. Ryan and I reviewed Reacher last night, and that's pretty good. It's good. Oh. Yeah, it's violent. It's good. People getting shot and fucking destroyed. Yeah, it's great. I like that. It's a Reacher kicking ass.
A lot of back of the head shots from Reacher in that episode.
Dude, the guy
taking back shots.
The guy getting kicked in the head, like his head didn't get squished or anything, but there's one cut where the guy's like doing the final right before he dies. Curb stomp.
That Snape stomp.
And
Snape curb stomp.
Yeah, and he gives him like the guy, the actor who's getting stomped, like looks up a little bit, and you just know that like that's it, and it's just his eye stays there. It was like, oh, so good. So it wasn't that graphic, but it was like, holy shit, that was really well done. Well done violence. I love it.
Has he recovered from his kind of lefty?
No. Richardson? No,
not
he's
at
a
all.
fucking woke retard.
I think he repeated it later.
He's fully retarded, not semi-retarded.
Okay.
I like people who are like, after he said that, I can't. I loved that or season 1 and 2, but after that, it's like, well, he was saying that before season 1 and 2.
He
I'm
was.
glad you.
That's what steroids and growth hormones will do for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like, again, if that was making its way into the show, it'd be a different story.
But it's not. No, not at all. Not at all. No. 1923. I wanted to ask Jeremy about this. I like the first episode. I like most of the second episode, except for one fucking scene.
Let me guess. The marshal?
The female marshal, who in real life was a deputy marshal, not a full-on marshal. So they just completely fucking made that up. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's a good actress, though. It's the one from, why am I blanking on the name?
Dexter.
Dexter, yeah.
Yeah, played the sister.
Yeah, played the sister. Noons for $184.99. These are Arab Emirate pesos. Thank you.
Ooh,
Says
oil money.
Oil money. That's right. And just like that, we are checked out of the Harry Potter series. What fucking idiots! One decision, you just lost. You lost a large percentage of people who would have given this a chance. Like, so this did cost you money. Like, it did. We
can get him back though.
The Hermione we all deserve.
Yeah.
Well, it's based on her accent alone. You know. Anakmamon on Streamlabs, 2 parts for $50. Thank you very much. Part 1. Sorry about the chat I said on Wednesday. You don't have to apologize. I thought you knew those dinosaurs everyone learned. Oh, yeah. Everybody learned about in 2nd grade. Anakmamon, I repeated 2nd grade.
Oh
You should know me
no!
better then.
I did.
How
There's a really
What happened? You messed up your colors? How do you?
No, there's actually a really fucking dark story behind it that you can read in the book.
Is it out yet?
No, it's gonna be out soon.
Soon.
It's gonna be out soon. We have a kind of an announcement, but I can't make heads or tails of it. So I probably should.
First 2-year-old that dealt drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Maybe your herpetology. Thank you, X-Ray Girl. X-Ray Girl's still here. She's a VTuber now. Expertise is limited to the present. So what's your opinion on Varanus subspecies? No, not Varanus commodonensis. My opinion is they were dinosaurs and they tasted great. That's it. Everyone likes that because I obviously hunted them when I was young. Everyone liked them. Specifically, what's your opinion on Varanus salvadori? That was the dude I bought drugs from in high school. Varanus Dumarelli and Varanus rudicoleus. As Friday Night Tights resident hypertology expert, I expect you to do deep dives. Thanks, buddy. Don't let me down. Fuck you. Oh, let's make fun of the guy who can't read, the old guy who can't see and got heavy damage to his brain. Tons of fun.
And our high school was pretty much, it was all white. We had one black.
You're in Canada.
Guy. Yeah, but this was back in the late 60s and 70s. We had the entire school was white. We had one black guy, Rudy. Guess who sold the drugs?
Rudy?
You.
White guys?
Yeah.
Please say
It was me.
That ain't fair, man.
I'm just
That ain't
saying.
fair.
And I went to him. I remember I said, "Man, you are a cliche."
Yep. And he's all, pay up. That's what
What's
he
the
said.
cliche?
It's like,
Yeah.
but do you want some?
But do you want
Yep, that's right. There was only $20 a bag.
some? Those are the days,
Ooh.
man.
Those were the
What
Those
kind
are the
of?
days.
Oh, I don't want to know. Never mind.
Yeah. You could probably get them legally now in your country. Is this TIS? T1S?
Yeah.
For 50. Say you don't know me or recognize my face. Say you don't care. Who cares to that kind of place? Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways eating up the night. Hail Starship. Oh, God. I knew I recognized that. Gary's second favorite band, and Hail FNT. Yeah, I hate that Thunderbolts trailer. Because it's got Starship. Starship music is fucking god-awful. Jefferson Starship, fine.
Yeah.
Jefferson Airplane, great.
Airplane?
Yeah,
Great.
good stuff. Starship, garbage.
No, I agree.
Mikey Gussler for 50. Got to see and meet Jason Mewes last night. Oh, cool. At the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio. It was a great show, and Jason's a humble guy. Chrissy, I still see you haven't booked there yet. It's time to come back and entertain the Ohioans. The Ohioans. Please and thank you.
I booked an Ohio gig. When is it? It's in a couple months. I should know this. Hold on a minute.
Dead Space just got an ad.
Oh, wait. No ads, no ads, no ads. Shit. Sorry.
Check your
Chrissy, you're
posters.
adding
Talk
more
about the
ads.
baby. Talk about the baby Daredevil.
Oh no! Look at the baby.
Born again.
Born again.
No, baby. Let's see.
He's
October
fucking
18th.
blind.
I'm sorry to
Shouldn't
everybody
use
in the
time to look
audience for the girl
thing.
noises.
She was busy going, oh, babe.
October 18th, I'll be in Canton, Ohio.
Canton,
Ooh,
Ohio. Thanks.
Canton.
Right on.
How many gigs a year do you do?
Way more before I got knocked up. But the baby's almost 11 months now, so I'm getting more
taking
dates.
it on the road.
Almost a year old, you mean?
I'm gonna have him hold the microphone. I'll strap him to me. Yeah, I'll be in Indiana March 29th. Wee.
Good old Indiana.
Fort Wayne Comedy Club in Indiana.
We saw the Subaru plant in Indiana.
Ooh,
lesbians, yeah.
That's all who are allowed to work on them. Bull Dyke.
And own them.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cole
No lipstick, ladies.
Cole Hauser, rah, for 50 Canadian pesos. Hail FNT. Our hockey, curling, and maple syrup will always rule. Your maple syrup, fine. My maple
Curling's cool once every 4 years.
I can't say I've even watched it all the way through.
What?
I know what it is, but
Curling,
yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to throw a rock across some ice. Not bad.
Yeah. It's like you'll
sweep
as you get older because you'll want to play shuffleboard in your old age, Gary. It's
I already
basically
want to play
shuffleboard in the ice.
croquet and shuffleboard. I fucking
Shuffleboard's
rule.
fun.
Shuffleboard's
Table
tons of
shuffleboard's
fun.
pretty great.
Hell yeah.
Hand-to-hand shuffleboard is even better.
I like hand-to-hand combat still.
Yeah. Violent shuffleboard.
Maple syrup will always rule. My maple syrup got confiscated at Universal City Walk. It did? Did you have contraband? Was there some like fucking
No, they wouldn't let him
THC in
bring
it?
his- He brought a
They didn't
huge
tariff
thing
it yet.
of maple syrup in.
Oh,
And try to take it to City Walk. They're like, you
can't bring food in. You can't bring
drink.
food.
Yeah.
They don't want you bringing any food in the park, so you can pay $50 for their hamburger or whatever. Yeah,
Correct. So
Can't do
they confiscated his maple syrup. I think they gave it back to him at the end of the day.
At least he
that's
got it
nice.
back.
At least he got it back.
Here's
How
the
did he
thing.
get it in the country?
Check-in bag is fine.
Smurfs. Smugglers.
You know,
Avoid those
I-
terrorists,
last time I went
Prison
to
wallet.
Prison wallet, yeah.
Last time I went to Disneyland, I actually didn't enjoy myself. There was too much waiting in lines to just go on rides and stuff.
And men
But
in dresses.
But there's that as well. That smoked turkey leg, friggin' hell, man, is amazing.
Go to
Is it?
Have you not had the smoked turkey leg at the Disneyland World?
No,
Whatever.
it's too
Oh yeah,
much.
it's great.
Fan of like the smoked turkey, like that has like fat person energy all over it.
Yeah.
Walk around,
just
It's all
Chad,
protein,
Chad,
though. That's all
Chad,
protein.
when you come
Yeah,
out,
it should be
we'll
low
take you to
energy.
medieval times. You'd probably fucking love it. I mean,
Oh my
you'll
God, I love
you'll
medieval
criticize
times.
it, but medieval times has those big
Dinner
I love
and
eating with my
tournaments.
fingers.
and it's not Disney.
I managed to get. I just went to San Francisco, managed to take in a bunch of maple syrup, but I had to shit out the condoms.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait, what?
Little give and take.
I still have one more trip to San Francisco to make. Damn
That's
it.
an expensive city. Holy smoke!
Fuck. I know. I've got storage facility there. I need to shut
Wow.
down. The big Chato theory. Oh, let's finish this super chat. So they confiscated
going.
at Universal, but they gave it back because they knew it was for drunk 3PO. Wow. The most famous man with under 1 million subscribers is drunk 3PO. Love all you in a non-gay way. No, you're gay. Ryan, my brother, 199. Yo, Joe, praise Al Ra. Praise Al Ra. Kratos El Gratos on the stream website for 50. I love it when you call me Big 50. But I'll settle for Mr. Testosterone. Mr. Testosterone. I almost properly pronounced your misspelling. That's how fucking dumb I am. Shouted to Dermy Wormy's 100th birthday. No, episode. Okay, he's not Shad. And Ballbuster Snipe. They're doing a special crossover Pub Buster 12-hour stream starting at 9 p.m. Central with Devil Made Me Dolt. Have fun with that. Yeah, don't do 24-hour streams. Don't do 24-hour streams. That is just like the worst idea ever. Nobody.
3-hour streams are.
You need a lot of snacks.
And bathroom
And
breaks.
sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Turnbull for $50 Australian. Attention, Gary. We use dollary dues in Australia. We do not use.
right.
We have pesos. No, anything that's not American is a peso. Okay, except for the British pound sterling, which is actually worth more than our money. So I give it the respect it deserves.
That's right.
For now.
For now.
$2.
That's been a gap that's been closing for years.
Dollary dues are funny. What do you have against dollary dues?
I have nothing against dollary dues,
Okay.
but I like saying pesos because it's easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. If you
My brother lives in Australia.
We also don't have spray on butter. Well, that's why you're an inferior country. Okay, just want to point that out.
No. And
No,
spray
we're
on
in-
cheese.
We're
Oh.
inferior because we don't have guns or free speech, Gary.
Yes.
That's why we're
That too.
inferior.
Hey,
No
you have-
guns.
willingly gave
koalas.
up your guns like morons.
But we have Vegemite, so screw you.
Fuck that. Do you have your spray cheese though?
we
You
have
got
Vegemite
cheese
too.
whiz?
Dude, just
Nobody wants
eats it
spray
here.
on cheese.
Do you have
Nah, you need to be
aerosol
real
cheese?
man.
Do you have cheese whiz? Come on.
That's why you're so
Do you have
fat
spray
over
on
there.
cheese in your
Cheese
house?
whiz is disgusting.
Do I? No.
Yeah.
It's
I
supposed to
agree.
be gross.
No. I don't have spray
The
butter in my
cheese
house
whiz is
either.
actually great.
You got my cheese whiz, boy?
Spray butter.
What movie's that from? Paul knows. You got my cheese whiz, boy?
No,
You don't know what come on, it's one of the greatest comedies ever made. Anybody?
you got my cheese whiz.
You got my
Sounds like
cheese whiz,
Smoking the-
boy? Fucking Blues
sounds-
Brothers. Blues Brothers.
Oh.
Blues Brothers.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm better at Smokey and the Bandit quotes.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Gary's old, in case anyone didn't.
Oh.
One time I used sweet and sour sauce for my McDonald's nugget Happy Meal, but it was with an Asian chick, so it was appropriate. Thank you, Grant.
Yeah,
Wow.
tweet it with chopsticks.
So it's cultural appropriation unless you're with an Asian chick. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
You took her to McDonald's for the first date. It's a
Classic.
move.
Classy,
Fucking
yeah.
Chad.
I like nuggies.
If a
Chad.
girl asked me to go to McDonald's, I'd go in a fucking heartbeat, bro.
We're going to the play place.
Yeah, women, you
The
better
ballroom.
be okay with it too. To be honest with you. Nothing
Can I
wrong
get
with
the kids'
McDonald's.
meal?
Expensive as shit nowadays, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
TFW for 7 Australian pesos. First, has Jeremy gotten his Trump body pillow pregnant yet? Well, he's working on it.
Stained.
You know, I don't know if it's
Pretty
definitely
close.
stained. I don't know if it's ovulating yet, but we'll find
think-
out.
Oh.
I think we can say that he's tried. I think that's what we could say.
Multiple times.
Yeah,
Trump sex doll.
there's a lot of tissues on Jeremy's desk after a Cobra cast. Second,
You'll see
not
his camera
included
slowly
the
tilt
books.
back over time.
Second, not included in the books. How would everyone rate the Harry Potter series as movies? As movies. I think the best made movie, this is going to make Harry Potter book fans really mad, but the best directed, edited movie is Prisoner of Azkaban. Like, by far.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like the style. Mine's the first movie because it's just so it's
It sets things
right
up
on the
really
book.
well.
Yeah.
I think overall
Magic's
as
there.
movies, and the reason they did so well, and the reason that even people that have a lot of criticisms about maybe the way it was adapted and things they cut and all this stuff, they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're all in between that 6.5, 7, 7.5.
Okay,
range.
maybe yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I enjoy them all. I mean, 4 is a fucking abomination of the book. Okay,
Exactly.
and half
What they
blood-
did to
and half-
Ron.
It is.
Oh.
I think it's the worst movie as well when it talks about pacing.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you talk about and it's tough to not talk about the book, but the book is so great because the mystery obviously is who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire. If you're paying attention during that movie, it's not a mystery.
Yeah.
And there's virtually no red herrings either.
No,
Where in
no.
the book,
Mm.
you have a ton of red
Mhm.
herrings.
the
Be it Karkaroff, Snape,
Yes.
Leo Bagman, like even Barty Crouch Sr. Like these are all like red herrings to throw
Yeah.
you off what's really going on, and then the big reveal is kind of crazy. But that doesn't happen in the book. The look that Moody gives several times, like it's pretty obvious who did it. That's the worst movie
I'm
and
glad
worst
people,
adaptation.
because I think it's the worst one as well. I would probably give it the whole thing maybe 6 out of 10, like just the whole movie
That's fair.
series. And I'm interested because I'm surprised Ryan gave it that, because I tend to think people rate it like a 7 or an 8, and that makes me feel like they're a bit overrated. The movie series overall, I kind of see a lot more hype than what it really deserves.
Order of the
Deathly
Phoenix is the
Hallows-
worst for me because what they did to Ron. Ron has like 3 words in that movie.
Which
They
one?
completely.
I like Order of the Phoenix.
I actually think Order of the Phoenix is one of the better movies.
But they fuck his character up so bad. Well, they do for the last like 5 movies.
That's
they
the movie
completely
series,
ruin him.
yes.
That Deathly
Hermione gets
Hallows
all of
1,
Ron's
I think,
shit.
was maybe the worst movie.
Which
Which
one?
one?
Deathly Hallows 1, part 1.
I think Half-Blood Prince is worse than Deathly Hallows.
Half-Blood Prince,
The reason I didn't like
that's pretty bad.
Deathly Hallows 1 is that Harry has become a fairly powerful wizard by this time, and he does sweet fuck all. He doesn't use any of the powers through the movie.
It follows the book.
Yes, and the book's frustrated me in the same way.
Yeah, okay. Some readers were saying that.
The first half, yeah.
I will say that if you watch because I'm a fucking dork, if you watch the TV versions of all the movies, which are all the extended versions, they're all better. Like every single one of them is better. Like there's even a version out there, you'd have to Tortuga it, that's got all the deleted scenes, saying goodbye to Dudley and stuff that's in there. And it makes them better. It does make them better. Even the fourth movie, a little bit. But yeah, they're not great, but they were insanely popular.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, they're all like 7 out of 10 movies.
You're not.
But I still get enjoyment out of them if I watch it.
It's the best series of all time. Long series, like past the Lord of the Rings, the first 3 Lord of the Rings. But other than that, I think it's the best series.
It came out when the Lord of the Rings was coming out. It did. They came out around the same time.
2000s were a good time.
Yeah, 2000s.
That's
got
why
that
I
nostalgia
think
factor too.
That's why I think it's done so well, is that because it's such a long series and most of the movies are okay to good, like that's actually a decent track record for a run of films. Like it's hard to nail that.
It also has
they're watchable. They just piss me off as a book reader.
What carries those movies is like, okay, the kids do a pretty decent job, but it's like every major British actor being in a side character in it.
Yeah,
like absolutely carries it.
Yeah, even Snape, right? Ryan was saying earlier, right? Like he's not anything like the books, but he's such a great actor that people even book. Like my wife's a huge book fan, and even she's like, okay, he's nothing like the book, but loves him and especially loves him in the role. Yeah.
Yep.
Alan Rickman is just a legend.
Yep.
Mad Eye Moody.
He is.
Dude.
Sheriff of Nottingham, mate.
Bellatrix.
That is hit the roll.
Oh yeah.
Sirius Black. I mean, that's
serious.
Fucking
Gary Oldman.
So good. Gary Oldman.
Fucking there wasn't enough of them. Like
Dobby as well.
Him getting sidelined in A Goblet of Fire fucking pissed me off. That's the one that got me.
Yep.
But it's one of the things fans have always been quite lenient in letting you make changes across mediums as long as it either improves it or they think you have the best intentions and you can kind of pull it off. It's only now where people are like, no, you just stick to it. Do exactly what it says because they don't trust you. They don't think you've got the talent or ability to change things and keep them good anymore.
And like it's hard. Like the idea of adapting Goblet of Fire in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
I don't think I could do that. It seems impossible. But ultimately, you got to compare it against the source material, and that's one of the best books and one of the most important books in terms of setting up different things in the wizarding world and all this stuff. And there just wasn't enough time, and it was, in my opinion, done really poorly.
So much happens in Order of the Phoenix that's cut out. St. Mungo's hospital scene, like shit.
Dude,
they should have
pivotal scene.
And even J.K. Rowling was like, "Don't leave out the house elves. Like, don't." Like
you realize
really,
even the prophecy itself,
yes,
the full context of the prophecy,
completely not in the movies,
is left out. Like at least the entire thing, right?
Yeah.
He knows the hints. He basically knows as much as Voldemort knows, right? But how in depth they go into it in terms of what it means and everything that gets left out from the movies.
Yep.
I think that the final battle between Harry and Voldemort is gay and fucking retarded in Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Thank you.
There's a really huge significance. I don't mind that part necessarily, but there's a huge significance to one, that scene going and everybody everybody from the centaurs to the forest, like everybody coming and like stampeding and overwhelming the Death Eaters, and Voldemort's supporters are falling one by one as his spells fail to truly hit anyone. And finally, the ultimate confrontation of them circling each other in front of everybody as Harry spells out everything that's happening. And so we, the reader, understands what is happening, what is about to happen, which is kind of important too. That's kind of left like into nothingness.
Yes.
You don't even understand what's fucking happened in the movie. And then to see Voldemort as just a dead body, right? Not, he disintegrated and he gets Thanos snapped and whatever in some kind of magical way. But no, he's just a dead man at the end. And the entire wizarding world, part of the wizarding world that matters and will tell this story on, they see that And that's very important. Otherwise, why would anybody believe he's truly gone after what they had just seen happen 16 years prior?
Yep.
Yeah.
God, and the trash talk in that part is so good with Harry just calling him Tom. Tom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
There's
It was
such
all
amazing
gone. All
concepts that had to be revealed, like the fact that Harry was the last Horcrux. There's that was a brilliant turn. I didn't guess that. I mean, I read the book.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic.
And a lot of the depth for Snape's character gets taken out.
Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier with the movies. And I think intentionally, and I understand when you're making an adaptation like that. But even a line that's so basic that they could have left in is when Dumbledore is finally revealing to Snape what he has to tell Harry at the end. It's that, he needs to die for this to happen. And he's like, we've protected him. We've done all this. You've just raised him as a pig for slaughter. Don't tell me you're starting to care for the boy, Severus. And in the movie, Snape's just like, expecto patronum, and has the dough, and he's like,
doesn't that get said in the movie? But I think it's like buried in a montage.
Hold on, they do that in the movie.
Yeah.
What they don't do and what they leave out is the
setup.
one singular line from Snape before that, where after Dumbledore says, "Oh, don't tell me you've started to care for the boy," and Snape says, "For him." Expecto patronum, and then shows the dough, showing that he does not give.
He doesn't give a fuck about Harry. Yes,
all about Lily.
It's all about Lily.
We just rewatched that movie. It's specifically in the movie. It makes you think that Snape cared about Harry.
Yeah, no,
specifically, and which was not the case at all.
No. And they left out the crustless egg salad
is
sandwiches, but
that's true. They did that too.
What was that?
They left out the crustless egg salad sandwiches, but I was fine with that.
Egg salad sounds good, but I'm hungry. So everything sounds good.
Me too.
I'm German. So egg salad.
I'm getting hungry.
We're getting hungry. Yarmouth for Fitty. Hey, FNT crew. Would any of you have some solid movies for my Sword and Sorcery Saturday? Watch both Arnie Conan films, Bakshi's Fire and Ice, which is great. Love them. Any other recommendations? Excalibur. Watch it like tonight.
Oh, hell yeah.
Excalibur.
There are so many bad ones because after Conan was successful, they just kind of spewed them out. And,
there's a great short
Dragon
film,
dude.
The Sword and the Sorceress with the sword.
Yeah, the Sword and the Sorceress. Kroll.
They're bad though. There's so many bad ones.
Kroll.
There's a short film from Ridley Scott about a knight. The Last Duel? No. It came out in the 80s.
I like Legend.
The original Red Star.
Black Angel. Black Angel.
Just watch
Excalibur.
Watch Excalibur. It's still one of the greatest fantasy movies ever made. John Borman. So, Hal shaved. Oh, it says it's supposed to be half shaved Bridge Kitten on the Streamlabs side, 3 parts for $58.50. Is Disney going to give white face to Esiadu, Mickey 17, when I said, tell me how you really feel? I meant, am I a racist? The kleptocratic mob keeps descending into the sewer, demanding we stand below and accept everything they drop. Their insanity will only increase as all forms of extremism does. Fortunately, the relevance of normality still holds to a moral standard, but the mob wishes, X-Ray Girl?
I can't read their brain.
The mob wishes,
was...
it's not mod. It's not mod. They're not mods. They're not riding around on Vespas listening to The Who. Okay? It's the mob. Wishes evil on that is good. It is all the responsibility of it is the responsibility of morals to cut off and cast out a group. Hashtag KMR10. I don't know what that is. Evil consistently demands to be heard while they preach peace, tolerance, and acceptance of their rules. As their rules describe, aggression only happens against them, as they are always the victim, regardless of circumstances. Cheers, brother. The mob. See, there's mods, which are the mod in the chat, and then there's
mods though.
Then there's
subculture.
Subculture. Well, that used to. I don't know if they're still around. They're into their Vespas and the Who. There's a whole movie about it.
And there's video game mods, and you'd know about that because you're a gamer.
Totally.
You know.
Yeah. I built so many myself. I am as good at making mods as playing video games. Totally.
As a sorcerer film, what do you think of Solomon Kane?
Loved.
Ooh, hell yeah!
Fucking
That's
Solomon Kane. Completely underrated movie. Like a banger.
Okay, I agree.
Absolute banger.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Yep.
So I can still stay.
Just watch, of course. Just watched it a couple weeks ago. It's fantastic. I wish it was in 4K. Xavier Saviorheart has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for 50. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sweaty Calves for $20 says, hail all. Hail Paul Chato. Hail the 199. Glad to have Paul back. Aaron. Yeah. I just miss you on Twitter, but you probably don't miss Twitter at all.
What happened
I don't
to you?
miss Twitter.
You got kicked off?
Yeah.
We got to get Paul back on before he dies off like a Dumbledore actor.
I can't stand the anti stuff.
The anti stuff. There's a lot of anti stuff. There's a lot of anti stuff.
You
know what? You know what?
Dragonheart is one of my favorites.
Dragonheart
movies.
Yeah.
Original. Don't bother with the sequels.
No.
Just the original.
No, there's some good ones, but Shad's right. In the 80s, fuck, there were so many bad ones. But like I watched them all. Like Ator, dude. You ever see Ator? Fucking
no. There's a lot that I wouldn't watch, but I know by reputation because I'm interested in the genre, and they look so trashy. Like there's this series called Deathstalker, which is just insane, and then there's like Barbarian Queen, and there's one called Amazon.
What's the one with? It's not Gary Cole. It's someone Cole, a muscled guy.
What's he do? Is it Beastmaster? Well, there's Beastmaster.
Beastmaster, I think.
Yeah. Beastmaster. There's one called the Barbarians, which is just these two like bodybuilders. The Barbarian
Beastmaster was horrible but funny.
But fun, totally fun. I loved that movie.
That's when we had production houses that just made shit movies because there was a movie out that was successful.
Somebody and the bad guy in it, the bad priest. The bad priest was the guy in the Gary Shandling show.
Oh, Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk.
Lady
Hawk's
Hawk
good.
actually isn't terrible. Lady
Hawk's good stuff.
I love Barbarians though. That movie is fucking hilarious.
Out of interest, I tried watching it. I was like, oh man, this is.
It's just ridiculous, but it's just a fun movie to watch. It's retarded though.
Jonas J. Campbell for $10. I wonder if when X support will reinstate Paul Chato X account. Somebody should remind them about it. I don't think Paul. You don't care. I mean, you could probably fight this or delete it, but you don't care. And I totally fucking respect. Listen,
they won't let me delete it.
Twitter's better, but it's not that different. There's still like shitty fucking like shitty scenes from bad movies that like Mahler and I both fucking hate this. Like they went hard on this scene and it's some fucking scene from the Eternals. Like it's like 3 million fucking views. And you're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I'm obsessed is usually the tag.
But what I did notice, it's like way more like, I know there's a Taylor fee, but I don't like specific, like I go to a lot of nerd shit and I'm not seeing a bunch of nerd shit anymore. I'm like straight up not like Samba TV. I was looking for Samba TV and I haven't seen his tweet from them forever. And I follow him. Also, like there was on my feed anyway, there was next to nothing about Daredevil. There was next to nothing. And I'm like, I wonder how much people can. I'm sure this will probably be one of the most watched Disney Plus things, but I don't know how this is playing out in the zeitgeist. It doesn't feel like it's that big a deal. Like people, like even it's despite like in our sphere, it's pretty fucking split. We'll just say that. But for the most part, people are liking it. And the normies who are watching it, it's pretty even as far as critics and audience score.
I think X is just all politics now.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
Yeah. And like I understand that we're in the, like they talked about, like, you don't do anything in the first 100 days in the Daredevil show. And I'm like, Trump has done more in the first 10 days than most guys do in their fucking entire term. But yeah, it's uber political right now. And it's I like my nerd shit too. Yeah. And nature is amazing. I fucking love that. That it gets pushed to me a lot, but it's like all this animal shit that's really cool.
It's good.
So, it's really good. David P for $10 says Paul's not 70. He doesn't look a day older than we all thought Shad was.
Yeah.
You know what sucks, Ryan? Ryan, we were going to review every episode, and we probably still will, of Harry Potter, and I was like excited. I was like,
"Oh, you got to."
It's like I just want something to be excited about.
Yeah.
And just because even if they nail the casting doesn't mean it's going to be any good. Doesn't mean this. Doesn't mean that. But fuck, man, just give me a couple things I can be excited about.
Dude,
don't take it away from you.
Quarter Black, you are a great Hagrid, dude. Like, look at that.
Man just pulled something else. He stole my excitement and hope from me.
Wow.
Yeah, why did you race swap Hagrid?
Magic begins.
The comics division is a goblin.
I know.
Hagrid is going to be on Ozempic.
Yeah, it'll be a skinny. It'll be a skinny one. Yeah. All right,
he'll be big, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, we're going to wrap it up here on the YouTube side. We'll get the rest on Monday, Nerdrotic Live, and on Rumble. I'll read the rest of them. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. And if you want to join us over on Rumble for the bonus hour where we're going to cover something that we probably get hit for on YouTube, but we won't on Rumble, which is great. Powerpuff Girls, because I know you tune in to look at a Powerpuff Girls sizzle reel that is... I really wish they made this show. Though. I really fucking wish they made the show, Disparu, like so bad. Like this. Is such
I thought they did make it. They just canned it.
Well, I think they only made the pilot actually.
Okay.
But I think that
why are they naked or something?
There was a series called
we'll get to it.
Powerpuff Girls. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's live action.
A live action one from the
show. Like a
Paul. Apparently, the CW had standards. So we will find out
one morning, we're like,
on the Rumble hour.
Thank you. I want to stay for that.
Thank you to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and donation. Thanks to all who support this channel. By the way, before we go, I do have a book announcement. I was supposed to do it here, but I have to pre-read it because I didn't understand it. So, and I got it like right before the show. Probably should have been paying attention, and my wife is probably cursing my name right now. But that announcement will come in future live streams and on Friday Night Tights, but it's something to do with basically getting, I don't know if it's advanced copies, but getting digital copies to read so you can review it early. So that's the tease. We'll give you the full announcement next week. The book is coming in 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks, it's happening. Woo. So I got a lot of shit to do. But in the meantime, ciao, everyone. See you next week with
Little Platoon.
One of my favorite
class.
You'll have some thoughts on Daredevil.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait to hear him.
Oh, I'm gonna get ganged up on. I know it.
Yeah, he'll bring some class to this show.
Bring it on! I'll stand my ground. I liked it.
Yep. You just need a British poofter. That's
He's one of the good ones.
You know what's great?
One of the best,
he would laugh at that.
Around.
That's why, yeah, he's fucking Little Platoon's awesome, man. He's great.
I love him.
Go subscribe to that channel. It's great content. We disagree.
You guys are all great.
You're great.
You're great too.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Chato.
So if you want to, let's stick around. Let's do the Powerpuff thing. Did we find it on the Internet Archive?
I got it.
It did get taken down.
Yes, Warner Brothers, like it is real. Warner Brothers is copyright claiming. That's why I cut mine out of daily when we reacted to it, because as soon as I refreshed the channel, it had been taken down by Warner Brothers. So,
but we'll do it on Rumble.
All right.
See
ya.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
I thought we already did that.
Probably Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.